Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to DTM Esports 2025. We're over the halfway point, and boy, that intro video just, I don't know, makes my hair stand up on end every single time. My name's Luke Crane. I'll be one of your hosts slash commentators slash, if you need a cup of tea, I'll go get it for you. I am joined by the ever wonderful Connery Maddock. Connery, how are you doing?
I feel like a cup of tea, Luke. Can you help me out with that?
Yeah, hold on.
Yeah, it's been a while, hasn't it? It's been a bit. The drivers have had a little bit of I would say a mid-season break. As the last round we had was at the Nürburgring, 18th of April. So it's more than a month since we last had a round of the DTM Esports 2025 Championship. So I hope everyone's enjoyed the break, but we got to get back to racing here at the Sachsenring.
Yeah, DTM Esports normally is done and dusted in sort of about 8 weeks, so or maybe a little bit longer than that. But this time it is a little bit more drawn out, so that's a little bit more pressure on the drivers. You could look at it two ways: a bit more preparation per round, or indeed, you want to just get it over and done with. I think Lucas Muller, who took the lead of the championship, probably could have done with this round coming a little bit earlier, but it doesn't matter. They've all got exactly the same time to prepare. But let's have a look then at all of the information that we need to look at. So let's look at the calendar first and foremost, so you know exactly what we have got coming up. So the DTM Esports special event, again, we have no idea what that is now happening at the end of the season. So yeah, really excited to see what that might be. I assume that DTM are flying us out to Vegas or something. I don't know, but I'm sure that's probably going to be happening. Obviously, round 3 was last time out on the 18th of April at the Nürburgring. We're at the Saxon Ring today for round number 4. Again, it is the 30th of May. So if you didn't know it's the 30th of May, there you go. Sorry for the spoiler. And then the 27th of June, so another month pretty much, we have got the Red Bull Ring for round number 5, and then on the 18th of July is the finale, which is normally the finale for DTM as well in real life. It's occasionally, and I've actually commentated a finale that wasn't Hockenheimring, which is the Norris Ring in 2020 or 2021, one of those 2 years. But this time it will be at the Hockenheimring, of course. Let's check out then the timetable for today. So, obviously, we've done the stream start. We're doing the welcome right now. Then we've got the Community Cup, which starts in about 12 minutes. So, not too long, indeed, until we get involved with that. Then there's qualification for race number 1. When we have race number 1, which is a sprint race, which means there's no pit stop. It is literally a sprint from start to finish. Then we have qualifying 2, which is another 10 minutes. And then race 2, which is a 30-minute timed race with a pit stop in the middle. So, everyone has to serve a mandatory pit stop. They have to change all 4 tyres as well. And then it will be stream end after a few interviews if the drivers decide they want to be interviewed. That is a very key point. But let's check out the entry list then for today's DTM Esports Championship round number 4. So you've got Tim Yarshall, Lucas Muller, Leonard Krippner, Gianmarco Fiducci, Vil Craivi, we've got Andika Ramat Maulana, Emre Chihan, we've got Lloyd Bidolf, we've got Turka Hakkinen, Christian Mitchell, Philip Drays, Ilya Dravozikov, we've got Julian Kunze, nearly got Dravozikov out there with one go, but we didn't. Nicholas Huben, we've got Michal Neg, we've got Enzo Philip Powell, Leonard Carton, Bence Banky, Max Pfeiffer, Florian Hasser, we've then got Christian Juhas, Patrick Shari, we've then got Bo Dixon, Luciano Whitvet, we've then got Alessandro Ottaviani, Julian Klaffenberg, Kaj de Bruin, and then we've got Peter Berliak, Isaac Price, Manuel Vera Carmona. We've got a special guest driver in Roland Sen, and we've got Marvin Mackenberg, one of 2 brothers that are very high up in the esports pyramid on RaceRoom. Now let's head then to the past champions. All these drivers are gunning to be on this list. So in 2022, we had Kevin Siggy for Team Redline. We had Moritz Lohner in 2020 before that for Williams Esports. And then probably the most impressive win out of all of them was Tim Yarshall, because he had to beat Kevin Siggy and Moritz Lohner in 2024. And of course, he is right up the sharp end in our championship this season as well. Let's check out the BOP, because I'm sure people will be asking those questions as well. The Ferrari has plus 15 kilograms today, plus 25 for the Porsche. The McLaren's got 0 kilograms, so that is great news for Isaac Price. BMW M4 GT3 has got plus 16. We then got the Lamborghini Huracan with plus 17 kilograms, and the Mercedes AMG has plus 9 kilograms. Let's check out how many people have selected each car as well, which is always very interesting. Of course, McLaren only has one choice, same as the Mercedes AMG. The most chosen car is the Porsche 911 GT3. Of course, that was the manufacturer. That was the champion last time out. It was actually the car that you're seeing on your screen as well. That was the champion. 9 drivers have chosen the Ferrari 296. Then you've got 8 who have chosen the BMW M4 GT3. 3 have gone for the Lamborghini Huracan. And then, of course, the McLaren and the Mercedes both got 1 person each. But let's check out the standings then. I did mention that we had a new championship leader after the last run of races at the Nürburgring. And there it is. So Lucas Muller is at the top then. It is Falcon Sim Racing Team once again. They're at the top, but it is a different driver. We would be expecting Tim Yarshall to be up there right now, but he is not. He's down to P7. But yeah, Lucas Muller has a 3-point advantage over Isaac Price, of course, a privateer. He is on 135 points. Leonard Krippner is in third. Gianmarco Fiducci in fourth. Alessandro Ottaviani in fifth. They've got Florian Hasser in sixth. Tim Yarshall in seventh, and Philip Dreys is in eighth position. So that is a a 47-point swing between first and eighth. I think that is pretty much it, Connery. I think the top 8 are realistically the only drivers. Of course, mathematically, there are other drivers like Ben Spanky, Emery Chihan. I think they need a double race win either today or next time out. But realistically, the top 8 are the only ones in contention now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you got to think about, the same point of the season last time around where we were whittled down to 2 or 3 pretty early on. But to have 8 still within what we would say is in contention halfway through the championship, I think is pretty good going. So championship still very much wide open. Unlike, some of the previous years that we've had, I think it's probably fair to say, which makes this all the more exciting. We just have no idea who's going to come out on top at the end of this season, but whereas in previous seasons we had a good idea of who was, but it just wasn't finalized.
No, absolutely not. Couldn't agree more. Right. Obviously, this is DTM Esports. We are a byproduct of DTM, and we've got some highlights from the Sachsenring. But after that, there'll be a little video to show you how you can get involved and potentially race alongside Maurice Schuring.
DTM Sachsenring, here we go. A weekend to suit the taste of high-speed fans.
Absolutely together as they go across the finish line. It's a photo finish.
In addition to the DTM, the ADAC GT Masters, and above all, the over 1,000 horsepower race cars of the European Truck Racing Championship provided plenty for the spectators. There was also full throttle off the track, but on 2 wheels. The DTM aces Nicky Tim, Jules Gunon, Maurice Schuring and Gilles Magnus competed against each other in the ADAC Bike Parkour Challenge. Track limits, precision and speed were decisive. In the end, the Dane Tim won the event ahead of AMG driver Gunon.
Good story for all the kids to have fun now here and just have a good time.
Any words to a winner, Nicky Team?
Yeah, good job, but I will be back.
A few days before the first race, the DTM drivers charged around the Sachsenring, but without any wheels. Twice to be precise, as the Best Water Run charity event organised by BWT to raise awareness of global water shortages, and Jack Aitken was first to cross the finish line.
I mean, maybe it's the only win I get this weekend, so I have to make the most of it, You never know. So.
He was not to be proved right, because the Brit took victory in Sunday's DTM race.
You told me you probably won't win anything here, and now we're here.
Yeah, this is just a British sense of humour. We can't be optimistic about anything. Always have to be negative,
One day earlier, Mercedes driver Lucas Auer was celebrating, and for the second time this season.
At the moment is running very well and I really enjoyed it.
The weekend was a real complete package. 52,000 spectators in the stands. Racing action, charity, fun events and a bit of DFB Cup final in the fan village. Done and dusted, and the focus is on the next races. Now it's off to the Dutch north coast to Zandvoort from the 6th to the 8th of June.
Hi, my name is Maurice Schuring, DTM driver for Manthey. My lap time of Beat the Pro Challenge in Zandvoort is just now on the list. Try to beat it at home. The fastest 5 will get to race with me at the Zandvoort event, so I really hope to see you there, and good luck.
Oh boy, lots of nostalgia there for me. I've commentated the Ring. It's a really, really unique circuit, and also commentated on Morris Schuring in the Porsche Carrera Cup Benelux. So yeah, lots of nostalgia there for me. Anyway, to today's racing action. We are here for round 4 of the DTM Esports 2025. We are at the Saxon Ring, as you can see. So I think overtakes are going to be at a bit of a premium today. Hopefully the drivers can change my mind on that one. Circuit length is 3.6 kilometers. Obviously, we've got races 1 and 2, which are 20 minutes and 30 minutes long. And actually, Thierry Vermeulen holds the lap record here with a 1:19.082. So very interesting indeed. Right, it's time for the Community Cup race. We love this. This is the older cars around this beautiful circuit at the Saxon Ring. We are in, I guess we're in qualifying. Yes, we are. So we've got 3 minutes left of qualifying. And right now, we've got a new name up there, Jelle. It's always a Hungarian, of course. There's 2 of them. Hegedus as well up there. But right now, yeah, it's a very unusual list at the top, I would say. Roche, Lorenz, Orban have all raced before as well. Berkes, Evtushenko, Lorenzo have all been in and around it. But Jelle and Hegedus, this is their first time, and they are right at the sharp end.
Yeah, absolutely. Setting the pace here in the BMWs. In fact, joins a gaggle of BMWs at the very front of qualifying at the moment. It's 3 occupying top 3 spots, then an Audi, and then another 2. So BMW definitely seems to be the preferred car here. Got a couple of, well, smattering of Mercedes and Audis further down the field, but yeah, BMW dominant, it seems, here at the Saxon Ring for the moment. Just a reminder, these are the 2016 DTM cars, so not the most modern ones that we see in the actual DTM Esports Championship, but for these Community Cup races, they've decided to go a little bit retro on us, as we see a big incident there involving your second place grid sitter at the moment of Hegedus.
It was Glock, yes, it was. Yeah, no, yeah, this is I think the second from last Class 1 cars in the game. So I think there's a generation after this as well. So yeah, this is the second to last one, so 2016. Yeah, if you want to get yourself involved in any of the DTM classes of car over the years, dating back to the 80s, you can do. Head to raceroom.com, and there's so much choice out there. Lots of classic circuits as well as the circuits they currently race on as well. So it's perfect. We're on board with Orban, and well, I say there's always a Hungarian. Right now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 Hungarians in the same grid, and they can't all win. There's always a Hungarian that wins, but it's going to be tough for them all to win.
Yeah, absolutely. Always coming out in full force here on RaceRoom are the Hungarians. But as we sort of wrap ourselves down towards the end of qualifying, I'm not seeing any massive movers at the moment. No purple on the left-hand side. You see Daniel getting himself up into P8 there in this qualifying order. We know how how action-packed qualifying can be in the main DTM Esports races, but it's a little bit more of a chill affair here in these Community Cup events. Although, you know, still narrow margins at the very top of the field, less than 2.5 tenths of a second separating Sella and Hegedus here at the moment, and well, the top 9 covered by, top 10 covered by just that 1 second.
Yeah, there's a little bit bigger gaps, especially from the front drivers. That's for sure. Normally we're expecting to see 6 tenths between the whole field, but today it seems like the car is a bit more challenging, and it is. It is an absolute handful. It's like trying to control a fully alive halibut you've taken out to sea, trying to drive this car around the circuit. And if anyone has any ideas what that's like, I'm sure there's a video on the internet where you can see people trying to handle a halibut. They're a big fish and they like to move. But yeah, right now Jelle is out there and the fastest. Doesn't look like anybody's going to realistically catch up, and the session is actually over now. So it's going to be 2 Hungarians on the front row. And well, like I always say, it's always a Hungarian, and maybe one of those 2 will be our race winner today. And would that be our 4th different winner for 4 races? I think it would be.
It could be. We're on we have a somewhat of a string of different winners in DTM Esports. We might get ourselves continuing on in the Community Cup event as well. So as we get this this race transitioned over into the actual gridding and racing mode here after qualifying, it's a very, very sunny day here at the Saxon Ring. It's not really a track that's renowned for its overtaking opportunities, but there's certainly ones that you can manufacture sometimes at this circuit, especially with the little bit of help from a mistake from the driver ahead of you. But yeah, it's definitely not the worst track on the calendar for overtaking, but it tends to be a little bit of a struggle.
No, it definitely is a struggle. I think with this car specifically, in the last sort of 10 minutes of this race, when the tyres really go off, you're going to see drivers drop off significantly. So if drivers can look after their tyres better than someone else, they're in a great spot. It will be very treacherous. It'll be like driving on ice, actually, trying to get the power down on the exits of corners around the Saxon Ring. But we're here. We are ready to get involved here. We've got the 5 red lights on my screen. Chat, let me know where you're watching from around the world. I'm watching on Twitch and on YouTube. Get yourselves involved. We're about to go green light racing for the 4th round of the Community Cup, and it's a fantastic start by Rush. Although the second phase doesn't seem to be as good as the first phase, trying to get squeezed then onto the apex from Hegedus. It's not quite going to work out there, and I think you'll find that Rush is going to hold on to that second spot. No, he gets washed out wide, and they're still fighting for position. Perfect for Jella, who's out in the lead. He can just watch in his rearview mirror thinking, yes, boys, you boys crack on, and I will drive off into the sunset. But ultimately, he's still not done there. The fight for P2 is raging on. Look at this, Connery. This is fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. Tim Roche trying to capitalize on his good starts here, but he still has Hegedus on his inside there, half a car length ahead now for this winding left-hander, and Hegedus is able to hold on to position, but he's got Carls absolutely stacked up behind him. Still not safe at this stage. Cell is trying to run away with the race lead at the very front. Here comes Maximilian Lorenz down the inside. The contact made between the two of them. Lorenz is going to go round.
Oh, he is going to go round, and I'm telling you now, no one can see him because of the smoke, but it's all his own fault there. He's been too optimistic. His rejoin's awful as well, but he's just been far too optimistic there. Just, basically washed out into Hegedus. Luckily, Hegedus is all good and, facing in the right direction, but yeah, on lap number 1, you're watching. He's had the best seat in house of watching Hegedus, and actually we're seeing so it's Rush, wasn't it? So Rush was involved in that. He's watched Hegedus and Rush go side by side for what? The first 3/4 of a lap, and then he's just got barreled in there. He sees so much respect, and then he's gone and made a mistake there. I'm sure it's obviously not intentional, but you've got to be a bit cleverer there. The big winner out of all of that situation, or 2 big winners, is actually the people who are on pole position and in second. Scheller and Hegedus, they're off into the distance already.
Yeah, a significant gap being established here for the race leads. It's up to almost 1.5 seconds already, and in fact it's just ticked over 1.5 seconds between the 2 Hungarians at the very front of the field. So Seller is laughing at this point. Being able to pull this gap means he potentially doesn't have to lean on those tyres too much, which is very, very important here at Saxon Ring, that it does chew up that rubber a lot. So it's something the drivers do have to be concerned about, even with a short race such as this one. I mean, I think people, especially in sim racing these days, get into this endurance mindset of the hour-long stints. But forget, if you're really pushing hard in these sprint races, they do tend to go off even after 20 minutes.
Oh, these cars they've got so much torque out of the corner that the rears will just heat up, and you've just got nothing left by the end. So this is a perfect situation for our front two, where they can really look after the tyres. You see Daniel getting involved there with Evtushenko just about holding on. Rush in behind them as well. But you can see the lead now between Jella and Hegedus is about 1.7 seconds, and then there's another gap of about 1.7 again. Actually, it's a mistake there from Hegedus. You just sort of lock up, sort of smoke actually, up a bit further up the road. Evtushenko though looking to indeed hold on. Daniel, the Czech driver, in 4th position, and Rush. You've got to be patient, because we've seen this time and time again, especially with the older cars in this Community Cup, that if you can really look after the tyres, the final 5 minutes, you'll find yourself so many freebies.
Absolutely, it's that's the main aim of the game, is just to keep yourself in it, isn't it? In these sorts of races, especially when you're in a bit of a train like we're in for the top 3 here at the moment. Multiple cars involved in this one: Daniel, Roche, Orban, Lichtenhagen on the back of this one as well. You can count Burkus in this as well. So big long train for 3rd place. Top 2 have run away a little bit, as you can see here, but you can see the little sort of positioning on the way down in towards turn number 1. This is basically your big, if not your only, overtaking opportunity here. There goes Roche down the inside of Daniel at turn 1. Can he get it done?
He absolutely cannot. The door was open, but it was slammed shut as quickly as it was open. Rush then trying to find himself an opportunity, and again, can really count himself unlucky getting involved in the incident earlier on with Lorenz. The fact that he's facing in the right direction is actually, I guess, a positive to take from it. But he'll be, pretty angry that he's not out there battling for second spot. It looks like Gela is the star of the field right now. 2 seconds in the lead, fastest lap of the race, doesn't need to push right now, can look after those tyres and sort of coast his way to victory. And then you've got Hegedus, who is pulling away from this group as well. They're fighting so much, and they're not actually catching up to the front two. And even if they were catching up, they would be killing their tyres. And by the time they catch up to the front two, it would be almost impossible for them to make any kind of inroads or any kind of moves. You see a potential move then in towards that second to last left-hander. The door just not quite open enough there for the move. And Evtushenko is going to hang on. And this is just a really nice battle there. Sorry, Evtushenko just about hangs on. And then you've got Rush, who's trying to get involved as well. Over the start-finish line to start lap number 6 for these drivers. And again, it is looking fantastic for Gela and Hegedus.
Yeah, it is. These drivers just behind, fighting it out, and Daniel just outbreaks himself here a little bit. Bit of a snap from Evtushenko as well. So that's all the evidence you need to show that both drivers are really, really pushing. One on the defensive, one on the offense. But we've still got 14.5 minutes of this to go.
I think that's a hell of a battle there for P14. If you want to quickly have a look here, we've got Yauchin, we've got Lorenz, we've got Hotlock. Those are all very closely contesting those spots. Hotlock in 16th position, the yellow car at the back of this. Yauchin is in that BWT pink livery, and he's under so much pressure then from Lorenz. Can Lorenz potentially make a move? Well, he fought against it that time round. With the evidence we saw from lap number 1, you figured he's just going to absolutely send it there, but a little bit more calculated this time round as well. As we look a little bit further up, Rush then trying to do exactly the same move as he produced last time out. He's a little bit closer, a little bit further up the road, and wow, he's now a position up the road. As we go through the final corner, he should sweep across the bonnet then of the car in behind him, which is a Mercedes, and ultimately move up to P4. Next up for him then is the Russian, is Evtushenko, who's now about 0.8 of a second in the lead because of that battling in behind.
Yeah, great pass there through the final sequence of corners, and Daniel can't really do anything in towards turn number 1 either. I would have thought with the wider line coming through the final corner, he'd have a little bit of a run coming out of the final corner to be able to respond, but it just simply was not the case here in this instance. So Tim Roche, yep, up into P4. And, Evtushenko's not too far down the road here, so I wouldn't count him out of it. Roche has shown some very, very good race pace here in the opening portions of this event. It's just a matter of whether he's taking too much out of the tyres too early here, and he'll suffer towards the end of the race.
Yeah, you have track evolution, you have car evolution, but then there's also driver evolution during a race. And he sized up the opportunity there on Daniel on the previous lap, as you see a mistake there. That was Daniel who were on board.
It was Rush going wide.
Or was it Rush? Sorry, it was Rush. He's actually going to re-lose that position, or is he going to hold on to that inside line? Looks like he's just about going to hold on. He's going to push Daniel out wide, and as you can see, everybody now closing up in behind. This is a cluster of 6 cars battling for a top 4. But ultimately, yeah, he's evolved as a driver over the course of this race, realised where he was able to get alongside Daniel. It didn't work first time, but the second time just was a little bit more committed, and ultimately made that position his own. As we see the 2 shell cars there getting involved with each other. And well, Ree is just going to say thank you very much. I'll go around the outside of both of you then. That was brilliant. Opportunistic as ever. Sebastian Ree there making a brilliant move. He goes from 8th to 6th. Whilst Lichtenhagen and Berkers were like, yeah, we'll have a little fight. Ree was like, yeah, all right, boys, you guys crack on. I'm going to go around your outside. I'll see you later.
Is making the most out of that turn 1 opportunity, isn't it? It is the most obvious opportunity at this racetrack where it's difficult to get anything done anywhere else. I mean, we saw moves coming into the final corner as well previously, but these drivers doing a decent job and giving us a show here for this round of the Community Cup. We have to remind everyone the actual DTM Esports drivers will be on a little bit later on after this. It's just these are members of the community that have set really good lap times in sort of the hot lap period. As what have you spotted there?
That was a back marker. It's a back marker getting out of the way there. Yeah, I was like a bit worried about what was going on there. If someone was really slow to see a potential move being made into the final corner, not quite going to work out. Berkes is all over the rear diffuser of Lichtenhagen. And right now, Lichtenhagen is just about hanging on. Last time out, Burkes just had a little sniff of the rear, a little touch almost of the rear, actually, and that's what gave the opportunity for Reed to move around the outside. This time round, well, there's a mistake there, actually, from Lichtenhagen. Just about going to hold on. Burkes not really got the room to manoeuvre with, and in behind him, you've got Muller, who actually, he's very much excited to see how this unfolds. There might be opportunities. There is contact between the two of them, and that is going. Oh no, they're just fighting now. They are just touching each other all the way around the circuit, and I'll be very surprised if we don't get some action on these two drivers after this race, because yeah, it's just getting a little bit messy. Again, the big winner in this situation now is Reed, because Reed is now 3 seconds ahead of this battle, and off down the road he goes.
Yeah, absolutely. Away and clear due to the contact. Max Müller in behind in the yellow BMW had a bit of a sideways moment too, and he's under pressure from Christian Orban here as well. Orban sitting in the slipstream, coming down all the way down that hill, flicking it in towards that left-hander, and is in prime position potentially to make a move in towards turn number 1, maybe even now into the final corner. No, Max Müller decides to try and cover that off. He might be compromised coming out of the final corner as a result, though. However, let's see how this one works out. As is that another back marker coming through? I believe it is.
No, that's Burkes. Burkes has let them go.
Oh, is it?
I think Burkes has been told to let them go as well. I think the race director's given. Oh no!
Oh, and immediately in another incident. Oh my word!
Not his fault that time round. There, it looks like Lichtenhagen just really couldn't get the power down around the turn number 1, and we're seeing lots of mistakes from these drivers. Just literally not having the grip. It's as simple as that. The tyres are really hurting now, just because they've been battling so hard. You know, they're effectively driving more distance because they're moving left and right across the circuit, but it's really getting that power down and trying to keep position, where as you look at someone like Scheller, Hegedus, Evtushenko, you know, they've got no one around them, so they can just take that optimum line. They can just be a little bit more pretty with the throttle, and you know, they're in a very, very good spot. But when you're in a pack of 4 or 5 cars, you can't really save tyres. There's no real choice. You've got to fight.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really, really tricky situation to be in, where you're forced to do something that you don't really want to do, because you know those tyres are going to be critical for the final laps of this race. But you know, what do you prioritise at that point? Track position or comfort at the end of the race?
Look at that. Reed has kind of kept himself out of trouble here and has been driving. So you've got to push to pass there as well. Yeah, you can see that Daniel has been fighting. He was fighting with Lichtenhagen and Burkes, you know, quite aggressively, whereas Reed kind of kept himself out of it and just sort of waited for people to make mistakes. So you would imagine Reed will have the better tyres at this stage of the race with 8 minutes to go. And you know, case in point, there's the evidence. Just sort of breeze past Daniel, who's looked very quick during this race. And I'll be very surprised if we don't see Reed potentially get past Rush and maybe even creep up towards the back of Evtushenko.
I mean, these are all things that potentially might be on the horizon for him. He's shown very, very good pace indeed, and a big bunch of smoke coming from Roche there. Maybe a little bit of a mistake. To see how fast he's being reeled in by his fellow German. And Reed, well, I mean, you said if P4 might be a possibility. I think I'm almost a certainty at this point. Look how slow that Roche is going, and now Reed goes down the inside at the penultimate turns.
Yeah, and it'll be here. Look, you know, he'll back out, but it's the power he can get down on the exit of this left-hander onto that straight. You'll see the car in front just squiggle around. He just seems to be able to get that power down so much nicer than the car in front. And actually, to be fair, you've got to hand this to Rush there. He's done a very, very good job, in all fairness. As we see now, Reed is going to try and go round the outside. And this would be a spectacular overtake if he can make it stick. There is contact between the two of them. Rush is not going to be kind there and let him have that opportunity. But you can see that Reed definitely got the better of the tyres right now, and has definitely got the better of the car. And again, 7 minutes to go. You would probably put your house on Reed making an overtake here for P4.
Yeah, absolutely. Just shown some absolute brilliant race pace, and he did 14.4 that last time by, which was 6/10 faster than what Tim Roche was able to put out there, and his fastest lap of the race is also looking very, very competitive too. So Reed perhaps not having the best qualifying, but the race pace looking absolutely brilliant here at the moment, as these cars start to get more and more unsettled as the end of this race draws clear. You see the slightly different lines being taken into there by both drivers. Sebastian Reed trying to find any advantage possible. Of course, they do have the push, the passes to utilize in this spec of DTM car. But as they head their way across the start-finish line, now almost 6 minutes left to go. Don't count Peter Daniel out of this one still as well. He's just sort of hanging there in the background.
Yeah, and you can see that Rush's kind of figured out where he can hold on to position, as we see a big mistake actually from Ree. Ree, is he going to hold on? He does. Daniel there closes up and looks to make his move up for P5, but Rush seems to have figured out where he can just hold the inside line and hold on to position. So at this stage of the race, he definitely doesn't have the tyres to do it in terms of raw pace, but he has to appreciate that Ree, as much as his tyres will be better, will still have the similar issues, just not as pronounced. So if he can figure out just putting his car in the right positions, it makes it almost impossible for Ree to make that move. So it remains to be seen as to whether that's going to happen. But I put my house on this happening now, so basically if he doesn't get P4, I've just lost my house.
Ah, you just give it to me. There we go. I need one at the moment.
Fair enough.
It's housing market in the UK is awful. Just don't. But as we see these cars circulate once again, Ree might again be in an opportunity, or at least be in a position to try and make this pass in towards turn number 1. We will just be moments away from finding out as we get the view from up above. Tim Roche going all the way to the pit wall to try and cover that one off, trying to open up the corner for turn 1. Although, you know, you can see that Ree is really going for every single gap possible. Just that slight opening on the inside, still put his nose there, no commitment to it, you know, and there wouldn't be unless you wanted to cause an almighty incident, but just sort of getting in the mirror somewhat.
Oh, big moment, big moment there for Rush. And he's going to leave that door open up the inside. Ree should get this nailed here, and if it isn't now, well, you know, it will be in the next couple of corners here, because Rush's tyres are going to be screaming at him. He's there sliding the rear around once again, and there we go, door even wider ajar, and Ree moves up to P4, although Rush is going to try and go back at him. And I tell you what, he might have this nailed here. If we move up to the sweeping double left-hander, he absolutely has, and he retakes that position. But again, they're swapping positions like his Pokemon cards at this point. As we head down the hill, Ree does just about get it. We've got Daniel in behind now trying to get involved as well. And oh boy, we're seeing fights once again in the Community Cup that always brings some highlights.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great to see. These guys never fail to deliver here. And you can see the you know, with the view of that rear wing, the DRS in effect being active for Sebastian Ree on the way down in towards turn number 1, just to make sure that he keeps himself ahead.
Yeah, no, 100% there. Just now, don't do anything too silly. Get yourself up top 4. How far are you behind Evtushenko? Is there the opportunity of catching up? I think the fighting that's happened for P4 may kill that opportunity, as we see a car off into the gravel there. Very tough, these conditions. It's almost as tough as racing in rain now, I would say. Maybe even tougher than that, to be fair, because you're trying to still hit the racing line, but the grip just isn't there like you know it before, as we see dust being kicked up so hard. Oh, it's not good. This is not pretty. Because once you go off into the gravel, you've got dirty tyres, you've got overheated tyres as well. Whitmer's is just going to be almost a mobile chicane. Not the most mobile, as we see a car in the background do a pirouette as well. Give them a 7.5 out of 10 for that one. And yeah, it's just tough now. And also, when you're down in P16, 17, you've got nothing really to fight for, you kind of lose concentration. And you're almost not really thinking about anyone else. You're just thinking about getting to the end, going to get a nice cold beer and chilling out.
Indeed you are. But on board with Peter Daniel here at the moment, as he tries to lock onto the back of a somewhat struggling Tim Roche. I don't know where Daniel came from. Tim Roche, again, himself is also trying to keep tabs on Sebastian Ree, but he's having big success in doing so here at the moment. 2 minutes left to go. Not expecting a swap around here between these two, but never say never. There's been a lot of mistakes from drivers out there where they've been struggling with the tyres, struggling to get the power down, struggling to get the car slowed down on the brakes as well, because you have higher likelihood of locking up and overdoing it when the tyres get to this state later on in the race. So yeah, it's a bit of a struggle out there at the moment for all of the drivers. So one little error could mean you lose one, if not more, positions. There's a battle going on for P11.
Yeah, well, there's just battles everywhere, right? There's drivers that will maybe not have the raw pace to be a top 10 driver in this, and you know, this is like the second tier of esports drivers. They're still very, very good guys. Let's just not get that mixed up. But there'll be drivers here that aren't good enough in terms of raw pace to be top 10, but because they've managed their race better, will find themselves free opportunities at this stage. As you can see, Hotlock here, Dominic just up ahead of them. Yalchin seems to have a nice gap for that top 10, so the Turkish driver should get that top 10. Then you've got Spigil, who's not far in behind them, and yeah, there are plenty of opportunities to fight for positions at this stage. Again, just position your car in the right place, don't make any mistakes, and you're golden. And head for the apex. Don't be on the outside here, ladies and gentlemen, not with bad tyres. Just always head towards the apex. It really is as simple as that. So see a potential move around the outside, and well, as soon as I say head for the apex, we see a move around the outside. Absolutely typical.
Hurlock heard you and just took it as a challenge. And just went, okay, cool, I'm going to commit to a move around the outside, and does actually make it stick over the Mercedes in behind now. And Varga Dominic now has to go from defending against one car, defending against another, because Philip Spiegel behind is looking pretty racy at this stage as well. But we've only got 15 seconds left on the clock. Philip Spiegel having a bit of an error and actually loses the position to Dirk Gretschel there, as we've got 8 seconds left on the clock. There is Christoph Sell. We haven't talked much about him, but he sort of run away after the opening lap or so and has established this almost 6-second gap, and as long as he keeps on the grey stuff, should be good to the end as we're on the final lap.
Yeah, indeed. We're on board there with Jelly. Again, it's always, it can be a good thing or a bad thing. If you get 0 camera time, it means either you've had a terrible race or you've had an exceptional race. Yeah, it's one of those situations, right? As we see Burkes trying to potentially get one more position. Daniel, who was in the thick of it for a top 5, but ultimately has dropped a little bit in terms of pace. He's dropped like a stone. Is there an opportunity for Burkes to get into that top 6 and make it 3 Hungarians in that top 6? Again, it's going to be very, very tight between them. The gap between the front two, those 6 seconds, then a further 5 seconds back to Evtushenko, and then it's about 3.3 seconds back to Rush, Daniel, Burkes. As we head down around the final corner, it is a 4th winner from 4. It is always a Hungarian, ladies and gentlemen. It is a pole position, it's a fastest lap, and it's a race win. It is Jelle with the victory. Congratulations to him. Daniel, oh, well, has he made the move? I think he has. No, sorry, he's held on. So Burkes was looking to make the move. Looks like they did trade a little bit of paint. I'll tell you what, it still might be on. As we go up towards the line, no, it's not. So Daniel just about holds on. The Czech driver holds on to the P6. And yeah, just lots of ridiculousness. There was some incidents. There was some poor rejoins, which Connery absolutely loves. And then there was just a really good performance from Jelle. So congratulations to the 2 Hungarians from P1 and P2.
There's some P12 and back though, as they're going to become be very, very close, heading their way across the line, not quite side by side, but a group of 4 all crossing at pretty much the same time there, after a bit of a squabble through the final sector for those positions further back there. But yeah, an interesting Community Cup race, some good action up and down the fields. I mean, for the very pointy end, it was a pretty boring race for Sell, as he had all of the action happen behind him, all tripping over each other and slowing themselves down. He was able to run away from the drop of the green flag and didn't look back.
No, 100%. We're about to get the official standings, then say hello to a few people watching over on YouTube. We've got Automobilismo Virtual, Yao Vitor, we've got Turbo Power, we've got Z Underball, Saildus. How you doing, guys? Welcome to the stream. Hope you are all good. And there we go. So Christoph Jelle is your race winner. 6 seconds clear then of Jabba Hegedus. And then got Alexei Evtushenko, Sebastian Ree, Tim Rush, Peter Daniel, Cornel Burkes, Maximilian Lorenz, Hendrik Lichtenhagen. We then have Oktay Yalchin as your top 10. Marcel Hotlock is in 11th. Dirk Gretschel, Philip Spiegel, Christian Orban, Varga Dominic, Vincent Whitmers. Then got Mike Schmidt, Daniel Stremeyer, Josep Hrovas, Raphael Heinrich, top 20. Then we've got Stefan Frank, Dominic Eichhoff. Then got Brian Duffy, Sergei Sleepak, Jonas Riedel, Naufal Mohamed Faze, Moritz Arnold, Andrea Percy as your classified finishers. And then 2 DNS, we've got Zolt Schranko, and then we've got Max Muller, which is the most German name of all time. Bernardo Lorenzo, and then I've missed the last name there because Connery decided to put us on camera and catch me completely off guard there. Luckily, I wasn't picking my nose or anything, to be fair. How are we all doing then, chat? Hopefully well. That's the Community Cup race done and dusted. Connery, that was absolutely bonkers, as it always is. I think we're going to have some interviews oh, well, to be fair, we do have the interviews. We've got Christoph, who will drag in right now. Well, we have our race winner. I'll be honest with you, Christoph, we didn't really see you during that race. There was 0 camera time, apart from when you started the race, but that's a good thing for you. It means you've done well. Well, I guess Christoph doesn't want to talk. That's fine.
I'm here.
Oh, there we
hello.
go.
Yeah, hello.
Well done, mate.
Sorry.
Congratulations.
Thank
Hope
you.
you're feeling pretty well. That's your first time appearing in a Community Cup this year, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it is.
And
it
you
was
win.
Fun. Yeah. It was a really fun race, actually. Luckily, I could come out from turn 1 in P1, so it was great. And I only had to manage the tire wear, so it was not a really hard race for me, but it was fun.
No, fair play, mate. And again, you should probably retire now. 1 win, done. Happy days.
Yeah.
Sell the sim rig. Brilliant.
Yeah, retire.
Let's hear a bit more about you. So, Hungary have had a long list of sim races. I've commentated on hundreds of Hungarian sim races. You're a new name to me. Where have you come from, apart from Hungary?
Yeah. I competed in F1 Esports before, to be honest. I have participated in the 2022 Esports Pro Exhibition as well. But I retired from them, and after 2 years, I came back here with RaceRoom. My goal is not really to be in esports, but we will see.
Okay, cool. Well, congratulations, mate, on your first ever race with us in our Community Cup. You get a win, and I guess we'll maybe see you in 4 weeks' time. I'm sure you're going to try and qualify at a minimum.
Yeah, maybe.
Good job, mate. See you later. Enjoy
Thank you
your
very
weekend.
much. See you. Bye-bye.
There you go, Connery. A new name to add to the RaceRoom pool of about 4 million esports drivers. Seems very quick, and I guess he didn't try and qualify for DTM Esports because the pace he has is he's definitely capable of being in that field.
Yeah, absolutely. So maybe in the future. I mean, he said he doesn't have any intention to be a super serious esports driver again. But well, I guess you never fully get rid of that bug. You can't really fully leave.
No, for sure. Again, if you've managed to make it to the Pro Exhibition in F1 Esports, you have to have put in hours upon hours upon hours to do that. So preparation and stuff, this guy's going to know what he's doing. So be interested to see how his story unfolds. But again, it's another Hungarian, ladies and gentlemen, to add to that list. Right, so we are now here ready for round number 2. So just round number 4 for the DTM Esports. If you want a little refresher as to how round number 3 went, luckily we've got some highlights for you. So Connery's going to press that magical button, and you're going to not hear from us. Well, you actually will, ironically, because we're in the highlights, but you'll see a video. Here we go, about to come across the start-finish line, and we're off, and we're running, and I tell you what, it's a very good start from all of the Porsche. The Ferrari second phase seems to be equally as good. Where is that papaya McLaren, though? When it's about 17 wide, there's a big hole he can shoot into, and is he going to go for it? Isaac Price needs to use his experience, Ferrari gets across him, but at the front end here, I think Fiducci is going to take the lead of this race, Is he clear, though? He's not. Tim Yarshall just about keeps enough of a car up his inside, forcing the issue. And as we come through turn number 3, it's almost impossible for the Ferrari to make anything happen. As Yarshall makes a big mistake here, and now Fiducci will pinch him onto the apex. We'll get the run on the exit, and the Ferrari is about to take the lead here. That is something I did not expect to see. Yarshall with the mistake. And that's early again, so expect Yarshall. Well, he's going to miss out here big time. He's going to lose a lot of time on the exit as well. He's going to get just nestled out. Oh, no, he's found an overlap. To be fair, it didn't look like he was going to be able to get that car stopped. He has got it stopped, It's beautifully done so far. No grip out there on the curb, and Tim Yarshall will take the lead of this race. He runs deep though. Tim Yarshall then enters the final corner. He now exits the final corner, and he will become our first two-time race winner of the season. Fiducci did throw everything at him, but it wasn't quite enough. Krippner finishes in third. We've got Muller in fourth. Ottaviani did get top 5 in the end. Of course, they're now waiting for the race director to give the green light signal and to get them running for the second race, the feature race of round number 3 of the DTM Esports 2025. And we are off. And it's a really good start, by the way, from Gianmarco Fiducci. Fiducci's got that inside line. He's going to get ahead of Ottaviani as we head then down towards turn number 1. It's 3 wide here for the lead as well. Fiducci's got to be really careful. You've got Emre Cihan trying to get around the outside, and he is in third position. There's smoke. Is anyone going around the wrong way? No, they're all good. They've got through nicely. Fiducci is going to end up off the third row onto the second row as it stands. Is there one more position? No, he could nab as Emre Cihan's making a run on Leonard Krippner for second spot. Gets the grip there through turn number 3. We'll have the outside line for turn number 4. Oh, almost has a bit of contact there. Yeah, Isaac Price has gone from 11th up to a potential 7th and maybe even a 6th. As we head then down towards turn number 1, he's currently in 8th position. You've got also behind him Christian Michel. Round the outside then for Price. You know he's going to get a better run in terms of getting the power down. He will have the inside line on Emre Cihan. And by the time they come through turn number 2, he should have his full car ahead. And he's going to have that absolutely nailed. Isaac Price is on the charge.
Here we go.
Ottaviani's coming out, so is Fiducci, oh crikey, they're close. Oh, they are really close here. This is going to help Isaac close up if they fight down towards turn number 1. But Isaac hasn't really closed the gap as we head then through turn number 1. They are super, super close. And this is going to be our 5th different winner. But the most important thing is it's a feature race win, which is worth more than, well, almost double the points of what you would get for a sprint. You can see what it means to him, the smile on his face. Oh, he's a beautiful man, isn't he, old Lucas Muller. He takes victory here at the Nürburgring. He takes 40 points. So there you go. That is the highlights, and the person who was on your screen last, Lucas Muller, is our championship leader heading into today's first 2 races. So if you've just joined the stream, you've missed the community race, but the DTM Esports Championship races have not begun yet. So we're about to head into qualifying for the sprint race, and then we have a feature race after that. So once the action starts, ladies and gentlemen, oh boy, it will just be over before you know it. So make sure you have some drinks and some snacks. We are here at the Saxon Ring. We've got 13 corners to negotiate. The circuit's 3.6 kilometers long. We've got 2 races, 20 minutes and 30 minutes. The difference between the 2 races is in race number 2, they have a mandatory pit stop, but they have to change all 4 tyres or all 4 wheels. I guess, they technically have to change the wheels as well. And yeah, that's basically it. And then we have a race distance of 306 kilometers. That's a long, long race. But yeah, we will be heading into qualifying right now. Thierry Vermeulen does have the lap record here, 1:19.082. So if you want to kind of figure out how close they are to the real life times, as you can see, they're a lot quicker than the real life times here. So Tim Yarshall 1:17.0 right now, and to be honest, needs it. He is our reigning champion, and probably is out of the top 8 is the one that really needs a result right now, because it has not been perfect for him. He is the only driver to win 2 races, but his consistency just hasn't been there this season.
No, absolutely not. But hoping to establish some form of normalcy for Tim Yarshall at the moment. I mean, he's done very well in terms of his banker lap in this qualifying session. In fact, has posted a faster Sector 2 time here as well, though there's multiple sets of purple on the left-hand side of the screen there. But Yarshall comes across the line, does improve on his time, however, gets beaten by Lucas Muller, our new championship leader from that previous event at the Nürburgring. So he goes 4 thousandths of a second faster, in fact. So the front 2 are Porsches for the moment. Florian Hasse, the Lamborghini there in third, with the 2 Ferraris, Abanki and Fiducci in behind as well, as yet more times start hitting the board. Emre Cihan up in towards 7th place here. Philip Drace is on a personal best lap at the moment, as long as he can hook up this final Sector 2.
And we had a chat with Lucas Muller last time out, and I mentioned to him that he's been right up there as one of the best drivers in sim racing over the last sort of 4 or 5 years, but it's really won a couple of races, but never won that championship. Never had that championship that really solidifies him as a top tier driver. And he kind of disagreed with me a little bit. He said, "Oh no, I've done well on other championships, other series." He has. I could be wrong. I haven't seen him win that championship. And I said that could this one result be the difference? And by the looks of things, It is, because he is continuing to be as fast, and the only benchmark you can go by is Tim Yarshall, who is the reigning champion. Like, that is the benchmark that you know, the best benchmark that you could be using. Also, in the same car, in the same team, they'll be using the same setup. Lucas Muller seems to have found that extra gear, although Tim Yarshall is looking very quick here. 2 green sectors. Are we about to see him potentially take pole position with 4 minutes 40 seconds left on the clock? We are not. So Lucas Muller has left a bank of time down there that is very difficult for everyone to hit. In terms of Isaac Price watch, well, where is Isaac Price right now? He is P9. So yeah, he's got no BOP on that car, so that's either a good thing or the car is that bad that he's really going to struggle today. And by the looks of him being 0.3 of a second off, I think the car might be a bit of a struggle here around the Saxon Ring, and that is the jungle of GT driving, I'm afraid.
Yeah, absolutely. It's, you know, sometimes it goes your way, the Bob, sometimes it doesn't. But of course, with Isaac Price being the only McLaren in this entire field, it's a bit of a struggle for him. But I mean, he had a decent run in the opening races. However, you know, these cars will have different places as to where they're favoured, right? I mean, we've got 3 Porsches at the very front of the field here at this moment in time. It kind of makes sense given that this circuit really rewards that sort of mid-corner performance, that rotation that you can do in the Porsches due to the weight balance and the wheelbase. You know, it's going to negotiate these corners much better. However, I do get a little bit concerned because, you know, there's a lot of weight over the rear wheels of those Porsches, and with the tyre wear being as significant as it is here at the Saxon Ring, maybe they'll have a bit of issues trying to keep the tail pointed in the right direction towards the end of these races.
Grab your phone and hold it, because Tim Yarshall has got purple. Around the final corner we will go. Is this going to be an aborted lap? I don't think it will be. This is potentially going to be pole position, I think. 3 minutes left on the clock. Across the line he will go. And is it faster? It absolutely is. It's massive. That's a huge gap in this series, ladies and gentlemen. A full 1/10 of a second. Isaac Price is about to cross the line as well. He moves up to 9th position. He didn't improve as much as I thought he was going to. But yeah, Tim Yarshall has just absolutely blown this field out of the water. Look how close the times are. The top 24 drivers are separated by 7.5 of a second. It's a ridiculous field, as Emre Cihan is very quick through sector number 1. Also repping the Porsche. Emre Cihan's another one of those drivers that has been around for the last 10 years, to be honest, on RaceRoom as well, but has never really reached the top, the pinnacle. A very similar story to Lucas Muller, I would say. You know, he is in the hunt if he gets an unbelievable end to his season, but unfortunately sector number 2 there is going to put pain to his progress, I think. As we head up towards the final couple of corners, I'm not sure he will be improving. How are we doing over on Twitch? How are we doing over on YouTube? Let me know where you're watching from. Let me know if you're enjoying things. We've got 2 races for you coming up. The race literally will begin as soon as qualifying is over, and then we're ready to go into race number 2 as well. So yeah, once we get started with the DTM Esports, it just does not stop. The action is just incredible. As Christian Mitchell takes to the final corner, Connery, Tim Yarshall has put a hell of a banker down here. I'm not sure anyone's going to beat that.
That's a heck of a lap. It's going to be very difficult for anyone to do anything about that. That's you know, we talk about it as if it's like a 2-second gap. It is only just, you know, just over a 1/10 of a second, but that is a massive margin. But you know, when the field is this good, when you've got everyone separated, you know, down to P26 by a second.
We're not used to seeing someone a 1/10 of a second clear of everybody. It's just not. That's why it's normally a couple of hundredths. You know, sometimes even a 1,000th of a second. Christ, we've got Alolo Vera and Jari down in 18th and 19th. They put the same lap time in. Like, you know, it's a ridiculous paced field. It really is. And then in the race, we know what's going to happen. It's going to be very tough on the tyres, and the last sort of 5 minutes will be, yeah, very, very ridiculous. So exciting times. Tim Yarshall, though, currently your pole sitter.
Yeah, absolutely. Is Florian Haas, I mean, the Sector 1 time didn't quite come through for us. He remains in P4 there. As Tim Yarshall, believe it or not, is I mean, he's had his Sector 1 time, you know, removed potentially, but he still put in a purple Sector 2, which is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly that. He's going faster again here. The fact that there's no time in Sector 1, does that mean that he's, like, track limited it or of some sort,
Okay,
or is he about to? Or, well, I guess the fact he's still doing this lap means that he is fine. So we're about to go across the line. Does he improve again? Oh, okay, there's your answer. It is 0.2 of a second. That is the Tim Yarshall that we know and love. That is the reigning 2024 champion, Tim Yarshall, rearing his, I wouldn't say ugly head, but yeah, he's rearing his head all the same, and he has put a marker down. That is a statement lap, not just for today, but that might be a statement lap for a potential second championship.
Yeah, absolutely. Although Lucas Müller, I mean, we're looking at that qualifying performance here at the moment. I think Müller, you know, maybe has half a mind of being just happy with second place at this point, because, you know, if that qualifying pace translates into race pace for Yarshall, then this one's going to be very one-sided affair, unfortunately. But let's hope interesting things happen on the start here. They can and have here in the DTM Esports 2025. Florian Hasse has not been the best starter so far, or rather, Yarshall hasn't been the best starter so far this season. So, and has been challenged on multiple occasions down in towards turn number 1 when he started at the front of the order. So, yeah, this is going to be an interesting one for sure. It's just a short rundown into there. That's, if you get a good launch, then, well, you might have multiple positions to make up.
And that's something that Isaac Price has been absolutely world-class at, is his race starts. To the extent where we believe he might have even chosen the car for that reason alone at this point, because it doesn't seem to be the best race car out there. But we've got a full formation lap, of course. We have a full formation lap. We've got the Cupra safety car there, officially partnered with DTM as well in real life. So it's nice to see that we have the actual car that takes them around the circuit for DTM in the sim as well. Make sure that if you want to get yourself involved on RaceRoom, it is free to download, raceroom.com. Go get yourself involved. But keep an eye out on that orange, or should I say papaya? That's more of an orange, it's not really papaya. An orange McLaren a bit further back in 9th position. Expect to see, even though it's a short run down towards turn number 1, Isaac to make some move. And I think we'll have the inside line as well, being in the odd positions. Yes, he will. So this should be very interesting indeed. So one full formation up, then it's a 20-minute timed race. Connery, give us your predictions.
It's hard to argue with the qualifying performance of Yarshall. As long as he gets away here, I think he's probably going to be okay. It's sort of yet to see how the tyre wear will affect those Porsches, especially with so many traction zones here, with all that weight on the rears. It does tend to be a bit harsh on the rears than some of the other GT3s, but yeah, the three of them at the very front at the moment, I mean, you can't argue with the qualifying pace, but I would say Yarshall has this in the bag as long as he gets a clean start, but, you know, who knows? I mean, Müller, you know, has a championship to, you know, continue to try to win here at this point, try to extend his advantage, or at least stem the bleeding as the situation may be. But you've also got a couple of others behind that are looking like they want to have a good points day here today as well. So, yeah, my money's on Yarshall, but, you know, who knows?
We have a very... As yeah, well, Connery just disappeared there momentarily. We're all good. So we're heading around the final corners then for this. We won't be able to look at the standings. But Tim Yarshall basically is just about 40 points behind the championship leaders. So it is a case of he needs to perform in this race. This is not just a statement from qualifying. He has to now go out there and win this race, in my honest opinion. And then he has to go and do the same in race number 2, because a 40-point gap is a massive gap, especially when that championship leader is still qualifying in 2nd spot. Teammates on the front row, then it's round 4. Sprint race for the DTM Esports 2025. We're about to go green light racing here at the Saxon Ring, and who will take the number 1 spot down towards turn number 1. Here we go, we're off and we are running. And Tim Yarshall takes them away. It's a great start, by the way, from Finucci. And look at that McLaren. The McLaren is absolutely flying down towards turn number 1. Is there some argy-bargy into turn 1? There is. And I tell you what, Isaac Price might end up in 5th position here, although there's 2 Ferraris having a bit of contact with each other there. They're going to have to do some tests later on to figure out who the father might be. And actually, it's still going on now. The Hymo car is going to get tracked out wide. And Isaac does move 9th up into 5th position. Tim Yarshall, though, does hold the lead. He's 2 tenths clear of Drees. And Lucas Müller, championship leader, has dropped 2 spots. He's now in 4th.
Yeah, absolutely. Not the best of starts from championship leader. Now he's drawn back into the clutches of a very hard charging Price. Another phenomenal start from the British driver. And let's see if he's able to continue on that good form for the rest of the 20 minutes we have to run in this first race. Of course, no mandatory pit stop here in this one. It's a straight-out fight until the very end. It's not until race 2 where we get pit stops affecting things as they descend down the hill for the first time here at the Saxon Ring. And well, Philip Drace looking quite comfortable there in P2 after getting a pretty good start indeed. And now he's trying to chase after your race leader of Tim Yarshall as they head their way out of the final corner here across the line to complete lap number 1. A bit of a shuffle around in the top couple.
Yeah, 100%. I think that Isaac Price has got a massive run out of the final corner there. Lucas Muller's going to have to sit onto the apex, and Isaac Price is going to have to keep that grip around the outside. He will have good tyres, of course. They've only done 1 lap, but Lucas Muller is just about going to hold on. He now pinches Isaac Price. Isaac Price is going to hope that Lucas Muller will run wide through turn 3. Doesn't happen, and ultimately this is now going to let the front 3 get away. Tim Yarshall now with a half a second advantage over Dre and Florian Hasser up into 3rd spot. This is not the worst thing in the world for Lucas Muller because his main title rival right now is behind him. It is the orange McLaren right behind him. So, of course, Tim Yarshall will gain points, but a P4 here would still have him as our championship leader heading into the feature race very shortly.
Absolutely, but you know, Muller, he really can't lose that many more points here, especially if Yarshall, you know, this is going to be a pattern and he's going to have a really fantastic second half of this season. He really needs to try to minimize the damage as much as possible, otherwise this will start getting very, very quickly out of control if Yarshall's putting up P1, P1, P1 constantly.
Yeah, Philip Drace looks good. Philip Drace looked amazing in our first round of the season, managing to get his first ever DTM Esports win. Was actually the championship leader coming out of round 1 after the first 2 races of the season, and then it's kind of dropped off. He's been there or thereabouts, sort of top 10, but hasn't really been fighting for race victories. Today, he looks very comfortable, and if you go by the community race, Tim Yarshall looks a little bit more ragged in terms of his rear stepping around a little bit more, whereas Philip Drace just seems to be under complete control of that car. And the unique thing about the sprint races, they've got 20 minutes on these tyres. In the feature race, where it's a 30-minute time race with a mandatory pit stop in the middle, most drivers aren't going to hit that 20-minute mark. So the more unknown part of the race will be the last 5 minutes of this one. So yeah, if Philip Drace can continue to look nice and neat and tidy, and maybe Tim Yarshall's pushing in a little bit too much, there might be a fight at the end of this race. But if we know anything, Tim Yarshall is very good at being a front runner. That's why he was our champion, quite literally, in 2024.
Indeed, he knows what to do in this position as well. He's pulled out 0.7 of a second over Philip Drace already here, so looking like last year's Yarshall as it seems to be here in the very start of the second half of the season for 2025. We're rounding on board here with Isaac Price, currently residing in 5th place after to gain a couple of spots on the start. That's been the usual thing for Isaac Price over the course of this season. That McLaren does seem to start very, very well, even though, you know, when push comes to shove, it's a rolling start, isn't it? So not even a standing start, you know, he's still able to nail it here as Isaac Price. Fantastic stuff indeed, but you know, when it comes to actual race pace, actual qualifying pace, it hasn't been quite there these last couple of rounds for Price. But you know, to be able to hold on to a P5 here would be a pretty good result if you ask me.
Not many questions. I'm in the UK. It is very hot, guys. I know I like to moan about heat. Why is Isaac Price in a long sleeve top? He is also a man with orange hair, which, you know, they are affected by the sun a lot more than anyone else. And again, that's not a dig at him at all. I'm worried about Isaac Price right now and his welfare. So could someone go check on that man, make sure he's well watered, and for God's sake, roll his sleeves up. He's a P5 right now. He's currently 0.8 of a second behind Lucas Muller, and Lucas Muller doing a pretty good job. He's lost a couple of spots. He won't be happy with that, but he's, you know, figured it out from that point on. And you know, P4 is not the end of the world. It's a tough race circuit to get overtaken on, unless you make a really, really poor mistake. We've got Turka Hakkinen under pressure now from Leonard Krippner. Krippner looking to move up into that top 12. This is actually the closest battle out on that circuit. It's all about now figuring out the final couple of corners, especially about the exit, getting that power down and not leaving an opportunity down towards turn number 1.
Yeah, that's your main overtaking point here, of course, and you know, it's a bit more difficult in these cars to really leverage that opportunity because, I mean, in the 2016 cars, as we just saw in the Community Cup race, you have that push past DRS, etc., to be able to, you know, give you that obvious opportunity in towards turn number 1. You don't have any such luxuries on this the GT3 era of DTM.
No, you absolutely don't. With the BAP as well, they're, you know, as close as they possibly can be, you know, bearing in mind they're all look completely different. They've got different engines and they're different manufacturers, of course. So yeah, within reason, you know, they are as close as they possibly can be, and you're seeing that right now. But this track is the great nullifier. It's very difficult to make moves around here. I like the Saxon Ring, but I must admit, whenever I see it on the calendar on commentating, I'm a bit like, oh no, oh god, it's gonna be one of those, isn't it? But it has its charm, that's for sure, and it's held some of the most crazy, most chaotic DTM races in the history in real life. So yeah, it's definitely got his place on the DTM calendar.
Does. We'll have a check-in with Tim Yarshall at the very front of the field. Has established a 1.4 second gap over the cars behind, so not completely running away with things, however has that comfortable margin to cars behind where he doesn't have to worry too much about pushing every single second he is out there on the racetrack. He can just sort of manage the gap to the cars behind, make sure those tyres are kept in a healthy operating window. He's not taking too much out of them when, you know, if you do that, then you might have trouble towards the end of the race keeping the car on the circuit, especially at a track such as this one. He's managing the race very, very well at this stage. But, you know, in terms of potential swaps in behind, they're all a little bit too spread out here to get too excited about any side-by-side action. We do have to go a little bit further back in the pack to be able to find drivers that may end up into a side-by-side battle. There's Luciano Wittvogt and Patrick Jari getting themselves very close there between those two. But yeah, in terms of the top half of the field, it's sort of a bit of a waiting game at the moment.
Also, you will see in the feature race, everybody will pit as soon as they can, by the way, today. Like, as soon as the pit window opens, it'll be pretty much everybody into the pits. It's, yeah, unless something drastically has changed, I think that will be the case as well. Yeah, people will want to get up to the fresh tyres and not get undercut, because track position is just, yeah, it's on old tyres, even with better tyres than someone in front of you, it's very difficult to overtake. So, about getting up to those fresh tyres as soon as you possibly can, keep that track position on everybody else. And yeah, just try and undercut as best you possibly can. But they're basically all undercut, but at the same time. That's realistically how it's going to go. Tim Yarshall out in... Oh, hold on. Tim, he dropped a significant amount of time there. There's a lot of smoke being kicked up there. I wonder if he made a little bit of a mistake. I said the one driver who's under a little bit of pressure here is probably Florian Hassler. Looks like the Lamborghini starting to fall off a little bit of a cliff there. It's about 0.7 of a second between him and Lucas Muller, although on that lap there, it looks like he might have caught back up to Philip Drey. So yeah, it must have been a mistake on the previous lap. Looks like Florian Hassler's got it all figured out once again. So Florian, if you watch this back, I apologise. I'll take it all back. No need to, don't hate me. I just thought you were getting caught a little bit. Good luck on your podium.
Yeah, hopefully. But you know, Lucas Muller in behind, I mean, not close enough to be able to be a massive concern at the moment. Fiducci on the back of Price might be a thing, however. We know how that McLaren is not ideal for some of these circuits, and maybe towards the back end of this race, Fiducci might just have himself a chance getting himself a top 5 here. But Price is known to be able to hold on to potentially losing positions here. So it'll be a very, very tough pass if Fiducci is going to attempt this.
Yeah, absolutely. It's yeah, Fiducci's one of those. It's a bit of a wild card. Is old Fiducci. I love him. He is a real good bloke. In all fairness, someone I've managed to meet as well. But he's a wild card. He's someone that will manage to make something happen in races when it doesn't look like it's a possibility. Like here, overtaking doesn't seem like it's the strongest opportunity. But ultimately, if there is someone who could find it on this grid, it will be Gianmarco Fiducci. Again, that's not to take anything away from him. He's a very quick sim racer. He's obviously the required level to be here, but he just has that X factor. So only positives coming from me.
Absolutely. I like this, Luke. only positives. But for the moment, tough to be positive about the racing at the moment, as everyone's in this single file conga line, and not really making much of any opportunities that potentially may arise. But hopefully we're just in a little bit of a holding pattern for the very end of this race, where drivers will feel a little bit more urgency with regards to trying to get past drivers ahead of them. Perhaps going to be taking a few more risks, especially down into the heavy braking zone at turn number 1, which we're just about to head into here. There's Leonard Kripner just sort of sitting up behind Turka Hakkinen, and Christian Juhas also involved in this mid-pack sort of train as well. But yeah, very, very much in the holding pattern now.
Yeah, 100%. Juhas now we're on board with trying to make a potential move then on Bent Banky. Bent Banky, although he's a little bit further up the road actually, it's Turka Hakkinen who might be looking to make some inroads. You've got Leonard Krippner as well in that Falcon Sim Racing team car behind. We've got Kunze in 14th position, and we've got Rama Maulana who Andika started the season really well, and it's his first time in a RaceRoom major championship that we've commentated on, and it's kind of not gone as well from the shootout, unfortunately. It's not been right up there. You know, he was my wild card. He was my surprise package from the shootout, if I'm honest. I know he's quick on ACC, but I didn't know he had the pace on RaceRoom, but he obviously has. Maybe he's just struggling a little bit. We've got Lolo Vera, who's currently in P16. I know the whole family will be watching Vera racing, that's for sure, as you get to look at that beautiful man, Gianmarco Fiducci. Look at it. Oh, God. People have to pay for images like that normally. What a beautiful human.
And, well, look at this. Maybe an opportunity on the brakes down in towards turn number 1. Door slightly ajar, but that one was always going to be one that's going to be rapidly closing. But Fiducci, yeah, not giving a lot of space for Isaac Price and the McLaren to breathe here at the moment.
No, he absolutely isn't. But Isaac Price is a very experienced campaigner, and he won't be given anything for free, that's for sure. But again, Fiducci will find himself an opportunity, that's for sure. And you know, that is one thing that Isaac Price will be fully aware of. These two have raced each other many, many times over the last few years as well. And Gianmarco's been in sim racing a little bit less time than Isaac. Isaac's been in since the 1970s. Before sim racing was even invented. But yeah, it's Fiducci is very, very hot on the heels of Isaac Price, and this is worrying for Isaac heading into race number 2. You know, if he does pit early like everyone else, you know his car is significantly going to fall off because of this evidence here.
Yeah, potentially. But you know, look at how much mid-corner speeds Fiducci was able to carry into there, and now that'll be useful into these next left-handers too. As they climb up on towards the pit straight. There's going to be a run here from Gianmarco Fiducci. Is he going to be able to make the most of this?
Yeah, you see Isaac Price is probably going to have to stay right here, and Gianmarco Fiducci is going to try and make a move around the outside. It's very difficult to make the move there with the Canberra circuit, but I'll tell you what, Price has left the door open on the exit. They have a little bit of door banging between the two of them. I think Price is just about going to hang on, and that is very respectful from the both of them there. That could have got very messy indeed, like we saw for the Community Cup, as Gianmarco Fiducci sees that cherry once again, wants a little bite of it, and doesn't quite manage to get himself involved. But this is now only bringing in Emre Cihan, Christian Mitchell, and Alessandro Ottaviani. They've all been invited to the party. It's now whether they can RSVP.
Well, I mean, there might be positions for the taking here, just in case these guys have a bit more of a prolonged side-by-side battle. We saw the first signs of it coming through Sector 1 that time around. So they head their way through the double left-hander in the middle part of this lap, and Fiducci's still giving chase down the hill and is looking for a similarly good penultimate and final corners as to what he had on the previous lap to be able to open up that opportunity down in towards turn number 1. It's essentially your your main opportunity here at this racetrack. I know we saw the 2016 DTM cars make that happen in towards the final corner, but again, that was with the help of push to pass. But we don't have such things here in these GT3 machines, and again, the opportunity not there this time around for Fiducci to work himself through, although the train is sort of starting to establish itself here.
The beauty of this circuit in turn 1 is the fact that there is a left-hander straight after the right-hander. So if you can find yourself an overlap around the outside, if you can be brave, there is a reward for it, but you have to be perfect. It is as simple as that. So it is still worthwhile defending the inside line, but yeah, you can be rewarded for being brave. At this stage of the race, you need to have significantly better tyres than the driver in front of you, I'd say, to be able to make that work. At the start of the race, when everyone's got nice tyres, you can really, really push the envelope. So it'd be tough to see it happen over the course of the next 4.5 minutes, but any one of these drivers is capable of magic, and that's why they're here. Let's look at the leader then. Timmy Archer with 3 seconds in the lead, which is quite remarkable. Very rarely do we see that gap being produced on the sprint race. Philip Drees then is in second position, returning back to his best form. Florian Hasso, who's just been steady Eddie this whole season, has done very, very well so far. He's in third. Lucas Muller, championship leader, and will retain that lead heading into the feature race today. He is in 4th position. Isaac Price then, who is dealing with a lot of shenanigans. Look at that. Fiducci is right behind him, a little bit closer this time round, down towards turn number 1. Are we going to see a potential late move from Fiducci? He fakes it, and Isaac Price bites actually. Goes in. Will he go deep though? He doesn't. And actually, he deals with that very, very well, because he did react there, Connery. It's not really like Isaac to do that. He reacted, he turned in early, but ultimately did hold on to that apex, and he's making it very difficult for Fiducci. And I'm telling you now, Fiducci would prefer any name in this championship ahead of him right now other than Isaac Price. It's the one name you'd be thinking, oh God, what have I got to do to get past this guy? Because there is just so much experience in that brain of his.
Yes, it's not very wide, that McLaren, but Isaac Price makes it feel very wide if you're the car trying to attack him here. And you know, you can see it sort of stacking up the group here a little bit. Fiducci is following as closely as is possible, of course getting maybe a little bit into the dirty air as well, which certainly doesn't help going through these medium to high speed corners. But he has to set a plan of action now with these final 3 minutes if he wants to get himself inside that top 5 for the end of this sprint race. I mean, he's going to follow very closely, again, as close as he can, coming through the final corner so that he doesn't have much of an overlap to try to get coming in towards turn number 1. I think that was a decent run.
Yeah, he's the closest he's been so far, and this is where you've got to be brave. You've got to try and force something around the outside and just have at least half a car's, length alongside here. He's gone deep there. Has he gone far too deep? He has. And Isaac Price again just holds on, extends out wide. I like that from Isaac there. So he could have held on to the apex, but then that gives Fiducci an out and he can turn in early. But ultimately, with Isaac just tracking out a little bit, it forces Fiducci, who did make a little mistake there, to compound that mistake and even lose more time. And now he's under pressure from Emre Cihan. So it's just little nuances like that that make Isaac Price so tough to deal with. Like, he has been around for such a long time and he's competed. It's not just a case of he's set sim race for such a long time. He's competed for such a long time. And, you know, there'll be people out there laughing at me thinking, oh, what is he on about here? Like, there are sim drivers out there that are at the very top of their game right now, and they'll have a 4 or 5 year ban of competing, and then they won't be good enough anymore. Whereas someone like Isaac has been around for that amount of time, you know, whether it be right at the top and winning championships, it doesn't really matter. He's made a living from sim racing for a decade now. There are not many people who can say that.
Yeah, well, I first started commentating sim racing 2016, and he was still around. He was around back then, and still one of the top competitors. Still is one of the top competitors. 9 years later. That is just an incredible career so far.
Yeah, again, you know, there are sim drivers out there that have been considered the very best in the world, and they have had a lifespan of 2 years, and then you never hear from them again. Like, it's so difficult to have longevity in sim racing in 2025. There are just so many top tier sim racers. You know, it doesn't matter what sim we're talking about either. Obviously, there's multiple sims out there. But to be, you know, at this level and continuing to see names like his is quite remarkable. And again, there'll be a few people out there going, what are you on about? Mate, the proof is in the invoicing. When you're invoicing for doing sim racing for 10 years, that's enough. Congratulations to him.
Oh, jeez. Like, you just reminded me that I've been doing commentary in some form of fashion on sim racing for almost, well, it's going to be 10 years next year. That's blown my mind. It's
a very sobering thought. We're on to the final lap then of this race. Tim Yarshall will take us to the final lap. 4 seconds his advantage over the rest of this field. And it has been a very comprehensive victory as well. I say that, it's tough, guys. Believe me, it is tough what he's achieving here. In terms of the qualifying, being 2/10 clear of everybody is quite ridiculous. And to then go out there and win this race by what will be 4 seconds by the time they do cross the line, that is a statement performance. Tim Yarshall about 40 points away from Lucas Muller in terms of becoming a 2-time champion, so he has to start performing. Otherwise, you know, the likes of Lucas Muller, Isaac Price are going to win this at a canter. But, you know, I said it had to be a statement in terms of qualifying, but you have to go out there and do it in the races. It's not going to be enough to win a sprint race. I can tell you that right now. This is going to be brilliant to start things off, but a sprint race the feature race is worth nearly double the amount of points as what we are going to get in this sprint. 24 points for winning this race, 40 points for winning the feature, which will follow this race very, very shortly. But as we come up towards the final corner. Well, he's the only driver this season to win more than one race. Now, he's about to add a hat-trick. It's 3 races this season from Tim Yarshall. I'm not sure we're going to see too much of a celebration because he knows that to win this championship, he has a job to do. But congratulations must go to the way of our reigning champ. Congratulations, Tim Yarshall, our first race winner of the day. Drees then will finish in second, back to his best, of course, as well. Was brilliant in round number 1. Hasn't really recaptured that up until today. Florian Hasser also taking advantage of Lucas Muller making a mistake through turn number 1. Lucas Muller, championship leader, will retain the championship lead, finishing in 4th, and Isaac Price will stay in 2nd, finishing in 5th spot. We've got Feducci, Chihan, Mitchell, Ottaviani, and Ben Spanky as your top 10. But Tim Yarshall, back in the winner's circle.
Yep, indeed he is. And, well, we'll get ourselves our full race results here just to confirm it as well. Tim Yarshall taking the race win. It's a German 1, 2, 3, 4 here in the DTM Esports. 2 of those Germans, Vulcan. So they're having a very, very good time indeed. Lucas Muller, our championship leader, coming into this race, finishes in 4th. Drees 2nd, Florian Hasser 3rd, and then Isaac Price does hold on to that 5th place in the McLaren.
He certainly does, and I think if he can find a 1/10 of a second in qualifying for this race number 2, put himself in that top 5, he's a danger to go out there and win a race. I genuinely believe that because he just seems to have something on these race starts that nobody else has managed to find. Is it because he's the only driver in the McLaren and the McLaren just is better off the line? Who knows? It certainly isn't the best race car. He was under a lot of pressure from Gianmarco Feducci, and Feducci will be sick of the sight of the rear diffuser of Isaac Price's McLaren, and, well, he had to deal with it pretty much the whole race. He finishes in 6th. Emre Chihan in 7th, Christian Mitchell in 8th, Alessandro Ottaviani and Ben Spanky as your top 10. We've then got Christian Juhas, Turka Hakkinen, Leonard Krippner, Julian Kunze, Andika Ramat Maulana, Manuel Vera with, I believe, his best finish of the season, actually, top 16. Congratulations to him. Mihar Neg is in 17th, Peter Berliak in 18th, Lloyd Badolf in 19th, and then we've got Leonard Carton in 20th position. And then we've got Bo Dixon, who promised he would lead a race. He actually sent me a message after the last race because he watched it back and he said that he will try his absolute best to lead a DTM Esports race. Is today that day? Maybe he's the only one that doesn't come in straight away in the Saxon Ring, but he promised to the fans that he would lead a race, so fingers crossed we see that today. Enzo Filipao in 22nd, Nicholas Huben in 23rd, Roland Sen in 24th. We've then got Luciano Whitvert, Julian Klappenberg. We've then got Patrick Jari, Ilya Trafozikov. Oh, I said it in one go. Nice. Phil Craievy in 29th, and Marvin Mackenberg finishes in 30th position. And then right at the back, Kaj De Bruin for RHG Esports is our only DNF. Oh, Connery, it's done. Race 1 in the books, and that is Lucas Muller still in the lead. But if I was everybody else in that top 8, now I'd be worried because it seems like Tim Yarshall woke up at the Nürburgring, but he's fully woken up now because that was a statement of intent.
Yeah, yes, it absolutely was. It never really looked in doubt through qualifying, through the race. I mean, it just very comfortable at the front of the field. It's exactly what we saw last year when he won his championship. Those are the kind of performances that got him that result. And if that starts happening now in these final races of the season, a lot of the drivers will be looking at each other going, "Oh, what do we do about this?"
Yeah, we've had 3 DTM Esports champions. It was Moritz Lohner in 2020. 2022, it was Kevin Siggy. And then in 2024, Tim Yarshall beat both of them in the championship to win last time. So just to put into perspective, Tim Yarshall is the reigning champ, the most impressive champ we've had to date. So if we have a quick look at the standings coming into today, we can just put into perspective, that he wasn't quite going his way this season. He's down in P7. He had 99 points coming into this. He was actually 39 points behind Lucas Muller. But in terms of the point system here, he has just gained 10 points on Lucas Muller in that race. And now it's going to be 29 points. And yeah, you keep chipping away at 10 points a race. with 5 races to go, it doesn't take a mathematician to work out that he will be ahead of everybody by the end of the season. So yeah, it's a very, very good race result there for him. Leonard Krippner will naturally drop down a little bit. Gianmarco Finucci with that P6 will stick around sort of top 4. Florian Hassa will actually gain points, I think. I think he may move up ahead of Alessandro Ottaviani. Tim Yarshall will move above them as well. So Philip Dreys would also gain big points as well. So the top 8, apart from Leonard Krippner, probably happy there. Leonard Krippner is going to be the only one that's unhappy, but luckily we've got ourselves a second race for themselves. If they didn't have a good first race, they can improve and potentially get some big points. Isn't that right, Connery?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is the big one that matters, isn't it? Well, I'm not saying the first race doesn't matter, but you know, in terms of significance, in terms of points, this is the one where you really want to be able to get that good performance in. You know, plus you've also got that intrigue, that different element of the mandatory pit stop as well that these drivers will have to complete. Otherwise, they get themselves a big penalty. So yeah, that's looking fantastic here at the moment, at least in terms of championship. I mean, Yarshall's slowly working his way up from that P7, potentially by the end of today, and putting himself in a better position for the final couple of rounds of the season. But yeah, I can't wait until we really get into the thick of things here.
Yeah, absolutely. It just sets up the second half. We are into the second half of the season. Yeah, it just sets us up nicely. It's nice to see that everybody in that top 8 are performing. They're all finding opportunities. So yeah, fantastic. Fantastic stuff. Here we are. We're in qualifying then, Connery. And yeah, should we get excited? I think we should.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't the most enthralling qualifying session last time out, at least compared to sessions that we've had before. We've had some absolutely crazy qualifying periods over the course of this DTM Esports 2025 season so far. Let's hope we get a bit of a repeat here for the qualifying for this second race. So there's no reverse grids or, you know, grid based on race 1 sort of shenanigans to think about here. It's just a qualifying for race 1, a qualifying for race 2, and the two do not influence each other. So if you had a bit of a lap of your life in the first qualifying, well, you can't really bring that into into the second race, unfortunately. But it is a fresh slate for those drivers that perhaps didn't get themselves a very good race 1 to try to recover here in this main feature event.
Yeah, and that kind of the format lends itself to that, doesn't it? Right. So with there not being as many points on offer for the first race, kind of a little bit of less jeopardy, so you can sort of work your way into a race weekend. It's like a race weekend, albeit across a couple of hours.
Condensed, yeah.
Because, yeah, very condensed. Because the second race is worth more. So, yeah, if you do have a bad first race and you can figure out what the issues are, then ultimately it can change. I will tell you one thing that hasn't changed, and that's Tim Yarshall's pace, because he's the only driver that's managed to get into a 1:16.9. He's also the only driver who's got into a 1:16.8. So he's already hit that time, and was, 2.5 minutes into the session. I would be very worried if I was everyone else right now. This is not good. Again, for him it is fantastic, right? And to become a 2-time champ, it is fantastic. But for the rest of the field, there's lots of questions here that don't have answers.
Yeah, an absolute weapon at this point. And yeah, I mean, it's hard to see who's really going to be able to step up to the plate to try to beat him at this point, because yes, we do have fast drivers up and down the field here. We have drivers who have won races already so far this season that are not called Tim Yarshall, but still, that doesn't seem to be able to distract you from the fact that Yarshall is on fire here at the Saxon Ring, and it's going to be very, very tricky for anyone to do anything about it. I mean, we might see a surprising qualifying potentially if someone hooks up a particularly good lap to try to challenge, but
this might be good.
Yeah, I mean, even his race pace was looking very good, so something would have to happen on the start.
This might be very good. Spence Baggy moves up into third spot. Isaac Price up to 7th, so not quite where he wants to be. Lucas Muller up to second and less than a tenth of a second off of Tim Yarshall. Florian Hassa has a very good performance there in the Lamborghini in 4th position, as we were on board there momentarily. I don't think we were on with Lucas Muller, weren't we? Florian Hassa is grey through sector number 1, so that I think will be an aborted lap, and he will start another one. Is anyone on a fast one right now? No. A 16.9, like, the fact that no one else has managed to get down into a 16.9 today, that's worrying. That's a real issue for everyone else right now. Isaac Price, he's found that 10th of a second, by the way. Unfortunately, everyone else has found a 10th of a second, so he needs to find another half a 10th, I think, and he can put himself up into 5th. I think if he starts P5, there's a world where Isaac Price can really challenge for the lead off of the race start. As Tim Yarshall, I think, might be about to put in a 16.8 again.
Man keeps going faster. There's absolutely no stopping him. Through the final corner, coming up across the start-finish line now. Is it going to be an improvement for Tim Yarshall? He's committing to the lap, so it looks pretty good if you ask me. And it's a 1:16.7.
Jesus Christ, Tim Yarshall. 16.7, fastest lap of the day. He's 2.5 tenths clear of everybody. Oh, everyone else just pack up and go home. This is now going to be called the Yarshall Ring. Unbelievable stuff here. Isaac Price is... If he hooks up the final sector here, this is going to be... You've got to ignore the pole position time. No one's going to get near that. You're battling now for second spot, effectively. This, again, right now is 2 tenths off of what Tim's produced. If he can go real quick here, he can move up to the top 5, maybe. Across the line he goes. It is not an improvement. Oh, it is an improvement. Oh, no, it isn't an improvement by lots of things. No, it's P8 then. So he stays P8. And with 4 minutes 30 seconds on the clock, only a couple more attempts to go. Wigdog, this is RaceRoom, my friend. This is RaceRoom. It is free to download. Head to raceroom.com or Steam. You can get yourself involved. Tim Yarshall, Lucas Muller. Do you know what? There's an interesting dynamic here. They're teammates, Connery.
Yeah.
But if they start on the front row, well, as I say that, Leonard Krippner, who I said needed to have a good result in this race because he was the only one of the top 8 who didn't really perform in race number 1, but he's put himself onto the front row. But there's a world here where Lucas Muller has to make a decision as to whether he fights his teammate aggressively or not, because he's also fighting for a championship here. It's all fun being in a team when they're doing well, but this is an individual championship. There is no team manufacturer cup or anything like that. This is all about one driver. So going to be interesting to see when that decision is made, and is there the potential for there to be some fireworks here, as Lucas Muller is purple through sector 1. It's not a good sector 2, but is it good enough to go up to second position? It is. So it is a front row now for... I say that, it's not anymore, because Dre's has just gone up to P2. He is now just shy of 2 tenths off of Tim Yarshall, as Juhas goes across up to P13. Lucas Muller keeps getting onto the front row of his teammate, and then he keeps getting displaced. Leonard Krippner first, then Philip Dre. So, there's an interesting dynamic here. We won't talk about it until we need to.
Absolutely. I mean, we talked about the end of the Nürburgring because we saw it as a possibility between the Falcon cars. But Florian Hasser up into P5 with a pretty good lap indeed. Emre Can is on a decent one too. Same with... Little
moment there for Ben Spanky. He was facing the wall there, which I can tell you looks spectacular, chat. Not fast.
Definitely not, as we see Florian Hasser come onto a flying lap here. Still got plenty of time left in the session, 2 minutes 36 left in the session to be able to get that done. Philip Dre's personal best, sector 1, 67 thousandths off of Tim Yarshall's sector 1 performance here. So Philip Dre's making, I guess, some inroads in that first sector into the fellow Porsche at the very front of the field, but going to take the tow back to pit lane though. But not back to pit lane, back to the starting point.
He's certainly found his best form now, again, hasn't he, Philip Dre? He seemed to have went off the boil after race round number 1. Maybe he just didn't want to be interviewed by us ever again. But he seems to have found something. He seems to have got his pace back, which is good. And for the first sort of 5 laps of race 1, he was right there with Tim. But then Tim just, was continuing to string the laps together, and Dre's just dropped off a little bit. So, this is also a real interesting fact, guys, is Lucas Muller. He's back up onto the front row. Okay. Now it is a Falcon 1-2 right now. The interesting dynamic with this race is there is a pit stop. But I would imagine, and this will be, it will be very surprising if it isn't the case, but because of the nature of the circuit and there being limited overtaking opportunities, everyone will probably, and it's the optimum strat, it will probably come in straight away. and get track position. It's all about track position and not losing track position. You can't afford anyone to undercut you and lose that spot because it's so difficult to overtake. But again, I've been wrong many a time. I'm only ever right once on a broadcast a year, and I've already had that correct prediction many months ago. So, yeah, again, I could be wrong. Who knows? Manuel Vera. Vera's family will definitely be watching. Currently losing a little bit of time. P20, as it sounds, 7.5 tenths of a second. But again, Manuel Vera was about a second, 1.2 seconds off of the pace at the start of the season. Racing against the best improves you as a driver. We've seen that as Manuel Vera goes even faster. So it's under 7 tenths now. The difference between Manuel Vera and P1. So again, Vera is clearly not as quick as Tim Yarsh or Lucas Muller. But when you race against these in your debut season, if you can improve across that season, when it comes to, championships in the future, you've got that experience, you're a faster driver, you're more consistent, you have to use this as a learning curve. It was very difficult to think that Vera was ever going to be challenging for a championship, but the fact that he's improved at the rate he has done, that is massive. And the same could be said for absolutely every driver on this grid. By the end of the season, if they haven't improved in themselves on this sim with this car, then there's an issue. The qualifying is done. We're about to get the confirmation of all of that. As Julian Kunzer, he's just given us a little bit of a parade lap there. And it's Tim Yarsh and Lucas Muller on the front row. This is going to be interesting here because Lucas Muller's the championship leader. Tim Yarsh is the reigning champ of the series. And Tim Yarsh needs the points more than Lucas Muller. And at some point, there is going to be a race between these two where the teammates, the teammate storyline is taken away. Because this is an individual championship.
Yeah.
There's nothing to be gained by you're having 4 drivers at the top end of the championship and winning a team cup. It is all about one driver. So at some point, one of these drivers is going to make that decision. And I can tell you right now, it will not be discussed. So, yeah, expect there to be some very interesting occurrences. It might not be today, but it could be in the future. Yeah, all the Lolo fans are now in the chat, which is always good to see. There's all the drivers then, getting themselves ready. Who looks the most confident there? They all look pretty confident there. The cleanest setup is definitely Philip Dre's. Just looks nice and clean there. Got Alessandro Ottaviani as well. Looks pretty clean. He's got his R8G shirt on as well. We've got Roland Sen, who's in the black and red and white esports jersey there. He is a driver from Audi as a special guest driver, which is very nice to see them involved. Here we go then. We're on a formation lap. Final race of today. Connery, we've got the Cupra safety car out there. Oh, dare I ask for a prediction? And dare I ask you to go for something different than the previous race?
It's the same as last race.
Copy that.
It's gonna be Yarshall. Pending something catastrophic or pending something interesting at the start where Yarshall's not able to get the traction down for some reason and Muller or Hasse is able to challenge, it's probably going to be the same result, I'll be completely honest.
There are 2 drivers that need to finish ahead of Yarshall and Muller, and they ironically are 3rd and 4th. Hasse and Dre's need to start challenging for race results. Lucas Muller, Tim Yarshall have got a decision to make here in terms of the championship. It's easy for Muller to, turn around and go, look, I'm leading the championship. P2 here would be perfect. Don't really need to go out there and challenge for the win. But if you do that every single race, eventually Tim Yarshall will catch him. I think something's going to go awry in this race. I think the front 2 might, for the first time, have a proper race, and this might open the door for Florian Hasse or Philip Dre's. Who knows? But I just don't think it's going to be as straightforward as what we've seen. We're heading into the final 2 turns of our formation lap here then. It's the final race of round 4 of the DTM Esports 2025. Tim Yarshall has won 3 races this season, but finds himself, I think, in 6th position in the championship heading into this race. And if he can get a victory over Lucas Muller, he might even put himself into the top 4 by the end of today and slowly start to put a claim to a 2nd DTM Esports title. As we round the final corner, the pace car will peel off to the left once they exit that final corner. And again, the pit window will open midway through this race. Expect everybody to come in as soon as possible. Watch out for the Papaya McLaren. That orange McLaren is very good off of the start. Tim Yarshall on the left-hand side of your screen. On the right-hand side is Lucas Muller. Teammates, but they're battling for a championship against each other. We're about to go green light racing here at the Saxon Ring. We're off and we're running. It's some great stuff from Tim Yarshall. And I tell you what, Florian Hasser has got the run here for a potential P2. He's got the inside line here. Lucas Muller, though, will have, of course, fresh tyres, as does everyone else, so can keep his foot down. But just, don't get involved there. He's going to lose positions now for sure. And I think you'll find that Leonard Krippner is probably going to back out of that because he hasn't really he's got a chance of winning the championship, but it's a very slim chance, and he'll probably let Lucas Muller just drive off into the distance. As Philip Drees, though, is going to move up into 4th position, and he will not be letting Lucas Muller hold on to a position, although Leonard Krippner fights back here. But by the time we come through the double left-hander down the hill, I think you'll find that Philip Drees will have this nailed, as there's a bit of a touch between the two of them. It absolutely is not nailed, it's not over, and Leonard Krippner actually will come out in the lead. Can Philip Drees potentially retake the spot? It's not going to be quite close enough. He has got a slight overlap. Is he going to be aggressive? No, he is absolutely not as well. Gianmarco Fiducci is sniffing the rear diffuser of that Porsche, thinking you boys can continue to race like this. That's absolutely fine. I would love to get involved. And, well, all of a sudden there's 3 wide in the background here as well. Isaac Price has to back out of it. Now he's left himself under a lot of pressure from Julian Kunze. He's trying to make a move on Ben Spanky. Kunze's now trying to get involved as well. Meanwhile, the front 3 have all disappeared into the distance. Oh, a very, very clean race start there. Very frantic. But the big loser is Lucas Muller, down to 3rd from 2nd.
Another similarly difficult start for Muller, as we see Ben Spanky going on the defence here as Isaac Price harasses his rear end and now commits to the outside as well. Not quite able to get anything done, although a little bit of a tangle further back through the field. I think who was involved in that? Well, whoever there was, they're back in the right direction.
Yeah, they all got through. They're all good. Again, lots of dust being kicked up. We are golden. We are green light racing here still. No problem whatsoever. Tim Yarshall was under a lot of pressure down towards turn 1 from Florian Hasser. I think that Lambo is very quick in the first couple of laps and the last couple of laps of his stint compared to the Porsche. I think the mid part, though, the Porsche is very good. So, yeah, if Florian Hasser needs to get this done, it needs to be sooner rather than later. But he seems to be already dropping off the pace. Lucas Muller right now, I say he would be happy with P3. I'm not sure he would be. I'm going to be completely honest because Tim Yarshall's out in the lead. Biggest loser, that's Isaac Price, right? P8 right now. Of course, he's gained a position at the start of this race, but he is going to be quite far off the championship standings here. This, again, Tim Yarshall will close the lead on Lucas Muller, but in terms of the actual championship lead, Lucas Muller's going to come out of today looking very, very good indeed.
Yeah, he is. Although, you know, these odd positions being lost here and there for Muller, you know, I think it's going to hurt him in the long run.
Move behind Isaac Price. Sorry about that. He's trying to make a move on Ben Spanky. Ben Spanky runs deep there. It's brilliantly done by Isaac Price. Forces him to take the inside line through turn number 1. And ultimately, Ben Spanky then runs deep under braking. He's taking a different line, not concentrating on his braking mark. And ultimately, Isaac Price, the experienced campaigner, will make the move up the inside. And there we go, up to P7. Sorry about that, Connery. I saw that on the start-finish line. And, well, we just had to catch it. Brilliant stuff there from Isaac.
Yeah. Nice stuff. Not as many positions again on the start as we're used to seeing, but still was up 1 and now up another ahead of Ben Spanky. Sort of returning to my point though about Lucas Muller, I would have liked him to see P2 sprint race, P2 feature race here. It's currently not happened for him. That would be the best sort of damage limitation situation here with Yarshall being as quick as he is, but each time off of the start he hasn't quite got it right. I mean, I can forgive it a lot because, I mean, with the even-numbered starting positions here, being on the outside for turn number 1 is not really the place you want to be. But yeah, to have to be passed at least once on both starts here is not ideal.
No, absolutely not. We've got someone in the chat, Paper Chip, saying is RaceRoom worth getting into? Yes, absolutely, man. First of all, it's free to download. You've got nothing to lose, mate. Get yourself involved. Get onto the ranked servers, mate. It is a real good fun. It's a real good community as well. And there is a lot of drivers, my God, especially at esports level. Jesus. Like, it's when they do a time trial for an esports competition, it's like 3,000 people normally turn up. It's a pretty ridiculous esports field. Always has been, always been strong in that regard. Fiducci then, right up in behind Philip Drees, and Isaac Price will be eagerly watching this, hoping that they start fighting for position so he can then slowly close up. But not so good is that Leonard Krippner is sort of driving away from this pack here. And he's also closing up towards Lucas Muller. Lucas Muller in 3rd spot, but the gap between 3rd and 4th is actually 1.6 seconds. So in terms of Isaac Price's championship hopes, he has to come in straight away, I think. I think most people are anyway. But as much as Isaac's been one of those drivers that stays out the longest, to be fair. This is the complete opposite today. It is come in early, try and undercut as many people as you possibly can, hope that a few people stay out and try and get that track position, because it's so difficult to overtake here.
As we see these cars head their way across the line once again. I'm seeing at least someone on the pit lane. There we go. Hakkinen, so Turk and Hakkinen, not that Hakkinen, coming down in first time of asking, and joined by Philip Drace. In fact, Ilya Dravosikov, Nicholas Huben, Leonard Carton involved in the pit lane as well. Ronald Sen, Christian Michel have decided to come in as well. So that's very first opportunity. We have had, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cars come down and in.
Yeah, I'm just really surprised that we haven't seen more. I'll be completely honest with you there. I figured we'd
Maybe
see...
next lap.
Yeah, I figured we would see the whole field come in all fairness. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens over the course of the next couple of laps. But if you are Bent Banky, Isaac Price has got, of course... Well, who come in from the lead, actually? So, no, someone has come in from the lead group.
It would have been...
Drace.
It would have been Drace. It would have been Drace.
Yeah, so there we go. So, Drace... I think that's a huge gain, potentially, here for Philip Drace. If nobody comes in for a couple of laps here, Philip Drace might find himself in a very good position. There we go. Yashalin. Hassel will follow suit. Lucas Muller will probably follow suit as well. Are we seeing any... Well, Isaac Price has stayed out. So has Gianmarco Fiducci. Yeah, I don't like that, I'm afraid. Around this circuit specifically, I just don't think it's worthwhile. I guess you get clear air. Obviously, the tyres are relatively still fresh, right? We're only 7.5 minutes into the race, but yeah, this strategy doesn't work around here, I'm afraid. It is just get yourself in early, keep that track position, and then, yeah, your jobs are good. And so they're all going to come back out, and yeah, this will be very difficult for anyone to really overturn a deficit unless there's any mistakes being made in, in terms of pit entry or pit exit from the leaders. I think it will be pretty much the same as it was as they came in. Philip Drace then is around the final corner. Will he manage to pick anyone off? Of course, he will be up to speed a little bit faster here. He should gain... hold on. How close is he going to be to 4th? I think he's going to be P4, but he isn't really that close, is he? Yeah, he's relatively close. Is that close enough to have overturned the deficit? Who would have been in 4th position before? Was it... Oh, now I'm trying to think. Was it Leonard Krippner, maybe?
Krippner behind now.
Yeah, there you go. So I think he's got past Krippner. So he has made an overtake, has Philip Drace. That has worked out for him. That 1 lap difference has made a fair old jaunt. And there we go. Isaac Price does come in. And now I think we're about to see the difference between an undercut, because Fiducci and Price were really, really close here. And I think Price will probably get him.
Yeah, potentially, as McLaren brings it, stationary in its pit box at the moment. Drivers still out there. So Fiducci, Banki, Maluana, Philip Pau, Vera, Berliak have not decided to come down in just yet. Everyone sort of down to P13 on your timing screen there has not decided to take the mandatory pit stop just yet.
No, absolutely not. It's, again, a bit of a mistake. No safety cars here where you gain and you think, oh, here we go. So we're coming out, and Isaac Price, where is he going to come out? Is he going to filter in behind Drace?
Yep.
So I think, ironically, he's gained, hasn't he? So he's gained a position. So this actually has worked out for Isaac Price, to be fair. It has worked out for him. It'd be interesting to see where Fiducci filters in to all of this. Tyres go off relatively quickly. They're up to speed really quickly as well when they get fresh ones on. So I wonder if Fiducci might lose a fair chunk of change here. You imagine everybody's got to come in now.
Still going.
Oh, it's going to hurt him, Connery. Connery, it's going to hurt him. I can't see any other outcome than this is going to hurt him, I'm afraid. Looks like Bo Dixon's into the pits as well. So we're not going to see him lead a race, unfortunately. There we go. There he is. I like Bo. Bo's been racing he raced in my leagues when I used to run leagues for, 8 years. One of the most winningest drivers ever at ACR. So yeah, good to see him representing Distinct.gg in the, one of the highest, or held in highest regard, esports championships there is. Yeah, good to see him. Hello, Looster.
Fantastic.
Welcome, mate. Sorry, Connor.
Yeah, Yeah, absolutely. You keep up. I mean, you're much more of a natural streamer than I am, so I fail to the check in on the chat sometimes, I suppose.
Yeah, no, keep an eye on the chat, guys. Want to let me know where you're watching from. Maybe you got your favourite driver. Maybe a family member's taking part in the race. Can absolutely get involved. I'm more than happy to give you a shout out. So here's Fiducci. There's Andika Rama Maulana in third spot now on track. Again, would be very surprised if we see them stay out much longer. Fiducci is he stayed out? I think he stayed out again, you know. Oh, here we are.
There he is. Over the brow.
What's the lap time watch like? You can see that information. So what's Fiducci's lap time compared to Isaac Price's?
That one was pretty bad, actually. 18.5. Even Maliwana was going quicker, and Filipao. So that was a mess of a lap for Fiducci. I'm going to have a look to see what's... well, you want comparison to Price?
Yeah.
I haven't had a representative lap time come through from him yet, but it will be next time around.
Yeah, you're about to see one here, and there was half a second between them once Isaac came into the pits here. So even if he was, you know, half a second faster, you fancy he's going to get up ahead. He's actually really close now, in behind Philip Drays as well. So is there an opportunity for him to potentially make some moves here? We know the McLaren's going to drop off, though. That is the big issue. We saw it in the first race where there is no pit stops, but the McLaren just fell off a cliff near the latter stage of this race, and maybe the Ferrari can take advantage of that later on, but I think Price probably, and I think Connery's about to tell us a lap time. I think Price is probably on the road now. Ah, there you go. So,
full second.
Yeah.
So yeah, those older tyres are really screaming for relief here at the moment. I mean, he's continuing on. He's committing. Like, I mean, I got to give props for committing.
But he has to.
But
he has to now.
So
he has to go to the 15-minute mark and just split the race in half now.
I mean, it is a better lap time. It was a 17.9 that last time by compared to a 17.4 from Price, but it's still half a second plus.
He is going to come back at people in this race, but I think he's going to give himself too much work to do. That's my my issue with this. It's hurting for sure. But I also like the fact that he's gone bold as well. It's easy to do the same as everyone else. You know, he's tried to do something a little bit different and figures that's the best way. Effectively, guys, every single race you do, as much as there are other race cars out there, you are racing the clock. You're trying to finish that race in the shortest possible time. That is quite literally it. So if you feel like your race time is going to be shorter or smaller than by doing a longer run for the first stint, and that's what you've got to do. You know, it's up to the driver at the end of the day. So who are we to tell them what to do? But I think short term it's going to hurt him. Long term, I guess it remains to be seen. If he gets back ahead of Isaac Price, then, well, it's me talking rubbish again.
Again, I mean, it sort of backed himself into a corner now after going those couple of laps longer. Like you said, he sort of has to commit to it now, because otherwise, you know, I mean, you can't half-ass a strategy. You kind of have to fully commit to it or not, and that's what Fiducci is doing at the moment. Maluano is also on the same call as well. As far as the pit stop phase is concerned, everyone down to P6 has not come down on towards the pit lane just yet, although Villacrevi is heading his way down in now.
Yeah, I think that's the first time we've ever seen Lloyd Biddulph on screen there. So yeah, shout out to the Brits. We've got like 3 of them represented in this race, which is always nice to see. But yeah, into the pits then Lloyd comes. And yeah, so it's just now Cravey, who is in the pits, I think, already. Mackenberg, Berliak, Maulana, and Fiducci are the only drivers that need to pit. In terms of watching the leaders, the gap's 2 seconds. So Florian Hasser is 2 seconds behind Yarshall, and Muller isn't really up the chuff pipe now of Hasser either. So the front 3 are kind of just going through the motions right now, making sure that they've got tyres at the end so they don't become vulnerable. That's the big key now. Do not become vulnerable near the latter stages of this race.
Yeah, that's the key. I mean, it's a little bit easier in these cars due to the amount of assists they have, especially you know, and obviously, you know, the spec with the GT3s. So, you know, with the previous DTM machines before we transferred over to GT3s, they were beasts, for lack of a better word, and you know, they were you know, very, very tough to control even on fresh tyres, let alone old ones. But these GT3s are a bit more stable.
Gianmarco's into the pits, so we will look at the merge between him and the rest of the field once he finishes his pit stop. And you're right, Class 1 cars were just, and people called them this, they're spaceships. They had such high downforce, such high power. It was ridiculous. Yeah, the tyres would always just drop off crazy. And well, Fiducci, where is Fiducci going to come out here? And if he's anywhere near Isaac Price, this might work out well. I tell you what, he's lost out, but not by as much as I thought he would. Hold that phone again, Isaac. Connery. Hold that phone. You got the same colour hair. Fiducci's going to. He's going to fly. He's going to fly up to the back of these cars now and have such better tyres that this might work out beautifully well. Remember, Berliak and Mackenberg have got to come in. So he's now net P7. He is 7th in this race. And when he came into the pits, he was 5th, I think. He was 5th. He was ahead of Isaac Price. Isaac was 6th. I think, no, sorry, he was 6th and they earned 7th for Isaac Price because Dre's pit really early. So right now, he's actually in the same position he was, in all fairness. So this is actually might be a bit of a stroke of genius. It'll take him half a lap to get going, but now he should be back up to speed and he will fly up to these guys with better tyres now.
Yeah, you would have hoped so. Let's see if it comes to fruition. However, it will be on this next lap where it becomes a little bit more obvious. As
it'll be sector 1, Connery. Sorry, mate. Yeah. That's where it's the most technical part of the circuit. You know, sector 1, he will 100% have the advantage over everybody. It's just whether he can, you know, climb up to the back of them. And it's a big misconception that when you've got fresher tyres, you could just fly at them and just drive the wheels off the car. No, it's not that. It's about being patient. It's about letting everybody else in front of you feel the effects of how bad the tyres are, and then you just doing good laps, just finding your opportunities via other people making mistakes and not overheating your own tyres. So yeah, the misconception is you can just fly and overtake everybody and send it, and you know, it's not about that at all. It's about still being smooth, but ultimately taking advantage of other drivers making mistakes because they are in a worse off position than you.
Yeah, we're running on board with Gianmarco Fiducci here at the moment, and well, still staring down Isaac Price and Leonard Kripke just that little bit further down the road. Hasn't made that many inroads through Sector 1, but you know, the gap is coming down due to just sort of being able to lean on that rubber a little bit more than those drivers ahead of him, and of course that will be exacerbated towards the end of the race. But you can see him catching up in towards the final turn, looking to try and get the drive off the corner and maybe make an opportunity of this, maybe through Sector 1 potentially, at least get himself close enough to be able to cause a problem.
Yeah, absolutely. Tim Yatra now takes the official race lead because we just saw Mackenberg come into the pits. It was big lock up there in front. I'm not sure who that was. That might have been Lucas Muller, actually. Yeah, it's a huge lock up, big kick up of smoke, and we saw in the community race earlier on that smoke could cause big issues. But all of a sudden, look, the Ferrari is right behind that Porsche, and I think it will be sooner rather than later we start seeing some moves being made by the Italian.
The Italian, as opposed to the Italian.
The Italian.
Italian. There we go. Is that a new Apple product?
It is indeed.
We'll just leave that hanging there for the moment.
Yeah, no, hanging in the Louvre. No, it's he's slowly again catching up here, and the drivers in front, the tyres are just going to wear off more and more and more and more, and this is where he's going to start to really close up. So it's not now, it's really the last 5 minutes where it will be key, and maybe he's given himself too much work to do with only 5 minutes to go. There's a mistake from the Porsche. This should be like taking candy from a baby. Look how close that Ferrari is. Going to get the overlap around the outside. Should get fully alongside here, which again, you just need to have half a car's length of overlap on the exit, and you will make this stick as he squeezes the number 44 onto the apex. There's a bit of contact between the two of them there. Kripke is not going to make that easy, but Fiducci with the better tyres now should get that nailed. And Kripke kept his nose in there where it probably shouldn't have been. I think Fiducci again should get this done, but Leonard Kripke, I think he's going to get in trouble for that. You know, it's nothing crazy in that, but it's someone who's driven, in sim racing a long time. You know what he's doing there. It's a little bit naughty.
It is. It's a common thing, but it's essentially forcing the other driver to make a decision about whether or not they want to have an accident. You know, it's kind of on the level of that sort of move. It's. I mean, technically you can do it. However, it's just not very nice.
And this is what I meant by you just cannot afford to be out of position around this race circuit. As much as you got fresh tyres, it just takes one of these battles, and effectively, you know, you making any inroads is over. He's now basically looking at one car he can overtake. It's going to be difficult to catch up to the back of Isaac Price. 2 seconds in 9 minutes is tough, man, with this level of field. And he's not even right up behind Krippner anymore. So it's just tough, man. You can be the fastest guy out there, but if you've not got track position around the Saxon Ring, it's almost impossible to have a good race.
I think it's Drace more than Muller that's putting on the smoke, sort of smoke show down in towards turn number 1. It's just like a lockup every single time.
Yeah, and seems to be struggling just a little bit there. But yeah, this race is kind of just going to peter out, I think, unfortunately. And I kind of, as much as I love the Saxon Ring, I'm going to be kind of happy to say bye-bye to this and we move on to the final 2 rounds, not going to lie.
I mean, we got to hope for better things in the final moments of this race, and then in the final 2 rounds of the season, because of course, you know, that's going to be our, you know, potentially our champion crowns, you know, at Hockenheim in the final round of the season, and that is a heck of a final round of the season, because Hockenheim Ring, perhaps the opposite to this, in that you do have a wealth of overtaking opportunities with every braking zone. So it's you know, that has the potential to be a much better venue for some action. And I mean, the next round at the Red Bull Ring, probably you could say the same for as well.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think they're going to be so much better than what we have had. This is a big lockup again there. Yeah, Philip Drays just said to all the fans that are around there, yeah, we don't want you seeing any action. I'll just put a smoke screen out there. It's like Wacky Races. Dick Dastardly is Drays right now. But yeah, Red Bull Ring and Hockenheim Ring, I can assure you, chat, will be a lot better racing. It's nice to have different challenges across the season. I think it's vital to have different challenges on a calendar to, you know, crown a champion. But ultimately, you know, this is the same every time. Saxon Ring can't really overtake. It is what it is. But one driver who's not going to give 2 hoots about that is Tim Yarshall. It's been a fantastic day for Tim Yarshall. Looking like it's going to be the first double win of the season. He's going to become a 4-time race winner this season. He won't still be championship leader, but yeah, it's crazy that he's the only driver to have multiple race wins, be it 4 of them, and he's not championship leader. It's just he has not been consistent between those races.
And as we talk about time and time again, consistency is very much key when it comes to a championship run. It's you know. That's, you know, as we get a little bit of a problem there with Lucas Muller just completely missing the apex through turn number 1 and ending up losing a decent chunk of time. He's got enough of a buffer over Philip Drace behind. There's not too big of a worry, but yeah, can't be doing that too many times, especially with the tyres getting into pretty poor state towards the end of this race. You know, that's where you start the vicious cycle, right? You have a slide, you have a lockup, tires overheat, that causes you to slide and lock up more, where they overheat even more. So it's really difficult to bring them back from that sort of state once you make that first error.
Yeah, no, it certainly is. I keep saying, no, that's really annoying me. It must be annoying everyone at home. I apologise, guys. Need to get rid of that habit. But it is correct. Yeah, once you make a big mistake, it's then trying to not only gain the time back, but also get the tyres back in, because normally when you make a mistake or you lock up, it gets compounded, because next time you make a mistake, it locks up at exactly the same spot.
Fiducci.
Yeah, what is going on here with Fiduci?
Oh dear.
What is going on with Fiduci? Yeah, he must have had a slowdown of some sort somewhere. He's just pretty much parked it on the racing line.
Yeah,
very odd there.
He had track limits
there you go.
infringements. That was about a minute ago.
Oh dear.
Oh dear. He's still losing
still
time.
Still trying to get rid of it, I think. And ultimately, the gamble has not paid off, has it? Christ, this turn 1 smoke. This is getting silly now. It's like someone's throwing a smoke grenade down there every lap. Yeah, Fiduci gambled. Fair play to him. He's tried to do something different. It has not worked out. I think at any other circuit, with fresher tyres, you're in a really good spot. You can make overtakes, but then again, everyone else would have tried to do the same. So, yeah, it's sometimes just the obvious strategy is the best strategy.
Yeah, but I mean, props for trying, I suppose. It was looking pretty good at one stage there, but maybe an error, maybe a little bit of an issue somewhere, and we didn't quite catch it on the live cameras, and unfortunately we can't easily do replays here, so it'll forever remain a mystery what has happened to Gianmarco Fiducci there, but it was looking good up until then. Down in P12 now, behind Emre Cihan. Driver that has had a pretty good run, actually, that we haven't really talked about. Turkka Häkkinen, 7th place.
Yeah, no, absolutely up there. Good to see a Häkkinen name up the sharp end. The Finn driver currently in 7th position in everyone's pit, so this is a legitimate 7th position as it stands. We just heard in the chat, by the way, apparently someone spun in turn number 1 and they've left the session, so we will continue to see that. That's why. So yeah, I don't get either, but that's why we keep seeing the smoke there. Turkka Häkkinen, though, is under pressure from Bence Banki, Julian Kunze, Otto Viani. Those drivers, if they get a sniff of an opportunity, they will take it. And when it's a name that they don't usually associate with being high up the list, they will take full advantage of that if they can. That is like blood to a shark. When you see a name where you're like, oh, they're a bit out of position. And again, it's up to Häkkinen to prove that he should be there. It's no problem. I'm not trying to say he doesn't deserve to be there. I'm just saying the perception of other sim racers will be like, well, I'm going to force him into a mistake. He will make that mistake, and then they will make that overtake. So yeah, right now, Häkkinen will be under a lot of pressure for the next 3 minutes.
Yeah, that's an interesting conversation, actually, because, I mean, like you said, these drivers we used to be seeing the same names around them at the front of the field. When they see someone who isn't normally there, perhaps they might have a tendency to be a bit more aggressive with them, saying, yes, oh, they're just going to be poor in terms of the race pace, they got there on luck or whatever, and I'm better than this guy. But that's not always the case. So someone might just be having a very, very good race with very good pace, and you got to treat that with respect. Yeah, and that's building a reputation in a championship. You've got these drivers, some of these raced with each other for 5 years and know where and how and why, and where they're slower, where they're quicker, what's their best traits, what's their worst traits. And when you're new, people try and take advantage of that until you build a reputation that you're not weak, you're not easy to take advantage of. And Turkka Häkkinen is doing exactly that right now. The gap isn't coming down. Bence Banki, you can see there in turn number 1, he angled it in, and that was intentional to get into the mirrors and try and get Häkkinen to drive with his mirrors, and it just didn't work out there. So yeah, it's a good challenge for Turkka Häkkinen, and he's matching Bence Banki with everything that's being thrown at him. Look very closely between some of these corners when Banki is on the straight here. Again, adjustment on the steering wheel, probably a little bit of a brake bias adjustment going on, and then he comes out of this corner. Does he adjust it again? No, he does adjust it. Well, the next corner, and then gets that car into this long left-hander. Probably another adjustment for turn 1. There we go, constantly adjusting that car as time goes on, just like they do in the real world, and trying to get that sort of peak braking performance into every single braking zone with those adjustments. Just it's great to see.
That's a really good spot there, and actually probably should have tweaked it a little bit differently there. He's running very deep.
Another tweak, there we go. Yeah, every corner a tweak. 2
completely different lines being taken there in 2 consecutive laps from Bence Banki, and he's still not closed that gap up. And yeah, that's the difference, right? There's a lot of drivers out there that are very quick, but being able to change stuff on the fly like that is the difference sometimes. That's something I just couldn't do. I even struggle. I did an Indy 500 a couple of weeks ago, and I struggled to change the weight jacker and stuff along the straight line. Like, I'm trying to concentrate so much. So seeing them doing it in a GT race with a car in front and in behind, it's very, very impressive.
It's interesting how he has that on the face of the wheel, not like he doesn't have a wheel with like a thumb adjustment where he can easily sort of access it. It's sort of on the face. You have to take one hand cleanly off it to adjust the setting.
Yeah, no, for sure. I don't understand enough of it to be able to get into the heads of these drivers. They're doing things that, if we could understand it, that we wouldn't be talking about it. I guess, to put it into a nutshell, right, we'd be competing. I think if when we were 18 years old, Connery, we were good enough to be in this, we probably wouldn't be commentating now, would we? Let's be completely honest about the situation. But here we are. That's why these are very special, talented drivers. And each and every year we have a few new ones come through. You look at Tim Yarshall, of course, reigning champ. Florian Hasse, been there, been around for a long time. Muller, Drees. Drees is a new name this season, really, at the top end. Isaac Price, of course, we know. Krippner. Hakkinen's a new name in this championship. Turka Hakkinen, shall I say. Obviously, we know Hakkinen as the 98 and 99 champion of Formula 1, Formula 1. I call it. Julian Kuntz has been around for a long time. Ottaviani, Emre Cihan. We've got Fiducci, Michel. Those drivers have been around for a while. Rama Maulana's on a different sim, been around for a while. But these guys are here for a reason because they're all very talented. None more so than this man here. It's going to be 4 wins this season for Tim Yarshall. Our reigning champion is starting to close that gap to his teammate, Lucas Muller. And there it is. There is a bit of emotion. The first race was, I know, I needed to do that. Second race was, no, I've done it now. I'm good. Now I can really make a run for this championship. 4 races, 2 rounds to go. It's not been as clinical as last time. Tim Yarshall, to be fair, with 4 races to go, we kind of knew he was going to be champion last time out. This time he's not even top of the championship. But everyone else in this championship should be worried because Tim Yarshall has found that form again and he's arrived.
I mean, it looked like such a calm race, but obviously completely enthusiastic about taking the feature race win here today. Usually, if they win by such a margin and such comfort, in such comfort, usually they're a little bit more relaxed than that. But Yarshall pumping the fists and screaming at the monitor certainly felt like he needed that one, especially with the way his season has been going so far. It's a really, really good result here to get the double race win and to make that championship fight a little bit more possible for him.
No, 100%. I think Lucas Muller, maybe it's a bittersweet day today. Qualified qualified second twice, and dropped down a position and 2 positions in both races. So I think an opportunity missed for sure. We'll probably have a little chat with him actually in a minute and be able to discuss that in detail. Again, it's a top 4 for Germany, which is fantastic for them, of course. Tim Yarshall, though, wins by 8 seconds. Very, very comfortable win. Florian Hasse second, Lucas Muller in third. Florian Hasse, actually, shout out to him, needed a good result in this race and, well, has delivered. Philip Drees in fourth, Isaac Price fifth, Leonard Krippner in sixth, Turka Hakkinen in seventh. We then got Ben Spanky, Julian Kuntzer, and Alessandro Ottaviani as your top 10. And, well, you probably wouldn't have had Ottaviani to start this race as your lead Italian because Gianmarco Fiducci was flying, but unfortunately finishes down in 12th. Emre Cihan ahead of him in 11th. Christian Mitchell in 13th. Maulana, Manuel Vera. Manuel Vera's just got 16th and 15th. I think that's his best 2 finishes of the season as well. Bo Dixon in the top 16. Enzo Filipao in 17th. Peter Berliak, Mihai Neg, Luciano Whitford as your top 20. And then got Patrick Jarry, Julian Klaffenberg, Kaj De Bruin. Then got Roland Sen, Lloyd Bidolf, Christian Juhas, Vil Craivi, Ilya Dravotkov, Marvin Mackerberg, and then Nicholas Huben. Those 2 are DNFs. And that is, then there's Leonard Carton. So there's Leonard Carton. Right, let's go and have a chat then with our podium sitters. So let's, first of all, have a chat with the driver that finished in third spot. I think I might have just caught him mid-conversation with Florian Hasse there, by the way. So I can only apologise for that, Lucas.
No worries.
two good results today, to be honest with you. Obviously, considering the field. But maybe in your head, opportunity missed.
Well, I never was like the biggest fan of this track, so I expected that it's gonna be like hard for me to have like super good results. So in the end, I think 4th and 3rd, that's totally fine. I mean, starting P2 doesn't seem to be the place to be where you want to be at the start, because on the outside you just have like literally no chance if someone's on the inside. Lost in the first race 2 places there, and the second race 1 place already in the first 2 corners, and then afterwards, I mean, we can't overtake. I mean, we got quite a heavy bop, especially on the power, and we already have the like slowest cars on the straight. So yeah, no chance to overtake anybody, which is a shame because I think in the end it was very close between myself and Flo. So with a bit more power, like we could have at least like have a fight on track. But yeah, like there's no chance. So in the end, P4, P3, it's fine. In front of Isaac, I mean, obviously Tim gained a lot of points, so I wouldn't count him out in the whole championship. But can't be too disappointed with a 4th and a 3rd place.
No, absolutely not, mate. So I, with my small brain, put you as still the championship leader.
Yep.
So as I said last time, enjoy your beers this weekend. We'll see you in about 4 weeks' time, and maybe you can extend that championship lead. Congrats, bud. See you later.
Bye-bye.
Right, let's bring in Mr. P2 from. I've just put Lucas in the German broadcast by accident. Right, that's never good, is it? Don't leave me in charge of anything technical, guys. I've just chucked him in the wrong broadcast. But we do have P2, Florian Hasse. Congratulations, mate, on that second race. They're tough to compete with the likes of Lucas Muller. Philip Dreys was very good today. Isaac Price has been good this season. Yet you managed to get a very nice finish there. So how are you feeling?
I'm relieved, to be honest. I knew in the beginning that there was a chance today because the number was quite there. I think it was a bit slower than the Porsche, but still we got the advantage in straight line that we have more power. So I knew if I'm ahead, I will stay there because there's basically no chance to overtake on this track. And yeah, Tim was outstanding today. There was no shot against him. It wasn't the car, it was just him. He was just brilliant today. Yeah.
Fair play, mate. And what aspirations do you have for the rest of the season? Have you got any targets that you're sort of shooting towards?
I mean, I scored decent points also in the first 3 rounds, so there's still a chance. I mean, you have to be there and collect what you get, and I hope for a good bob in Hockenheim, because I think that suits my driving style quite good. So let's see what Spielberg is bringing, and yeah, pray for the best and for the BOP.
Fair play, mate. Well, congratulations. Like I said to Lucas, enjoy your beers this weekend. We'll see you in about 4 weeks' time, mate. But yeah, honestly, well done.
Thank you.
I'll let you drop out. I don't want to put you in a German stream like I just did with the thing. I'll let Florian deal with it, where he's going. But let's bring in our race leader now then. And here he is, the reigning champ, Mr. Tim Yarshall. I could tell in the first race it was kind of like, you've got a job to do. You've got the business to get on with if you want to win this championship. You got that out of the way. And then after race 2, where the bigger points are on offer, I think you realise now that there is a championship on the line, right?
Yeah, I hope so. I'm really happy. All I can say. After a few shit situations, I broke my ankle joint ahead of the season and the disconnect in the last race. I'm really happy that I received the double victory, and yeah, all I can say, I'm really happy,
100%. What do you think it's going to take for you to become the DTM Esports Champion? How many more race wins do you think you're going to need? Because Lucas is still going to be a fair few points ahead of you. I think you might have cut the points lead to about 20, maybe even a little bit less than that, actually. But what do you think you need to do to go out there and become a 2-time champ, the first ever 2-time champ?
Yeah, my plan is that I repeat this result and pick up 4 more wins.
Okay,
that's my plan. That's fine. Yeah.
Oh, mate, fair play. Yeah, short and sweet today, but fair play to you again. It was nice to see. You could just tell that after race 1, you're like, "Yep, there's a job to do here. I'm just going to focus." And then the second race, you're like, "Yeah, do you know what? I can celebrate now." And do you know how crazy this is? You're the only driver to win more than 1 race this season. You've won 4 now, yet you're still not leading the championship. So that disconnect really did hurt you. But hopefully you don't have any more disconnects and you can get the job done on the track. So well done, mate. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll see you in 4 weeks' time.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good evening. Bye.
Take care, mate. There you go, Connery. I think we've got a few things we need to have a look at. Is that correct? Before we shoot off, or am I wrong?
I don't think so.
No?
Not that you've added to the run of show.
Well, the fastest lap award today goes to...
there we go. I knew I was forgetting something.
Yeah, the fastest lap award goes to Tim Yarshall. So he did a 1:17.194. And yeah, the fastest lap award will win themselves a speaker from JBL, which is always good. And then we've got the pole position award here. And Philip Dreys has 2. Isaac Price has 2. Tim Yarshall has 3 now. So Tim Yarshall has taken the lead in that. So yeah, very, very interesting indeed. Connery, any final words from you?
Well, I mean, it was. I think it was the event that we sort of came to expect here at the Saxon Ring. Yes, the Community Cup race has a decent amount of action in those older DTM machines, but in terms of the GT3s here, it was a bit of a struggle for drivers to get past. You know, despite how much of a lap time delta they may have had. It does sort of set us up for a very, very interesting final 2 rounds of the season, however, because we've got the Red Bull Ring to get over and done with. We've got ourselves Hockenheimring as our finale of the championship, and really, those are 2 tracks where you can absolutely sort of, take a random name out of a hat, and that could also be your race winner. So it's going to be a very, very intriguing affair. The championship is so close. We may even see a lot of drivers really start to take risks at this late stage of the season, but you have that intriguing combo of track that's pretty good for overtaking, plus drivers taking risks, which will really going to add so much more to this show, and hopefully we'll get a fantastic end to the season.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Red Bull Ring, Hockenheim Ring. Let's check out then the calendar for the rest of the season. So you guys can see we finally have got rid of Saxon Ring again. I like Saxon Ring as a place, but in terms of being a commentator, it is not much fun to commentate on. It's track position. It's like Monaco for the GT cars. Qualifying is key. We've done the first 4 rounds of the season. We head to the Red Bull Ring in June, the 27th of June to be exact. 18th of July will be the finale at Hockenheim Ring. And then the DTM Esports special event, worth no points. I have no idea what that is, but I'm sure we'll be here for it. But anyway, thank you very much for watching, guys. Make sure that you subscribe to all the channels that you've been watching on today and join us for round 5 of the DTM Esports 2025 Championship. We came in with Lucas Muller leading, and we gave with Lucas Muller leading by more points than he did, but probably under a bit more pressure. We'll see you next time at the Red Bull Ring.